Okay, so welcome everybody to another episode of Unleash the Six. My name is Ken. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got some new guests on today, so I'm going to go around the table, and if you can introduce yourself, mention your name, your age if you like, what your relationship status is, what part of the GTA you live in, and what you do. And if you want to plug in your social media handle, you're welcome to. So to my right.
Sure. Hi everyone. My name is Neha.
Hi, Neha.
Hi, and I am married, and I have two kids. Very little one, 3 and 6 years old.
Oh, nice.
And I also love to sing, and my Instagram handle is Me Talk. Me Singer. Me Talk is for my TikTok.
Okay.
And
that's N-E?
Neetalk.
Perfect.
And for Me Singer, again, Nee and Singer. And
where do you live in Toronto?
I live in Milton.
Okay. Yeah. And what do you do?
I do the
singing stuff?
Yeah, singing.
Oh, cool.
And I recently, as I mentioned in the video as well, that I participated in Markham Talent.
Okay.
And I was one of the finalists.
That's great.
Yes.
Well, congrats.
Thank you.
Perfect. Moving along.
Hi. I'm over 50 and in
What's
a
your
relationship. Oh. Lola.
Hi, Lola.
And I have been here and it's been very interesting. I've been enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm.
And my Instagram handle is LolaGlenn788 and I live near Burlington.
Perfect.
Hello, my name is Cheyanne. I'm 32. I am from Brampton. I work at Oki Cannabis down in Bramalea. I am a lead educator, marketer, administrator, event coordinator, and I do assistant managing on the side for them. I currently, I'm married. I have my one dog. I have my cat. I adopted 2 kittens recently, and I'm absolutely in love with them. And I've got my 2 guinea pigs. And
happy family.
Right, I got a zoo.
Oh, McDonald.
You know what I mean? I
That's
love
nice.
that. I need a T-shirt with that. And then my edibles tonight are brought to you by Spinach, Wana, Vortex, and Fly North.
Great.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Osborne.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. I am right young age of 54. I also have 2 children, 25 and 23.
Nice.
I am by trade, I say.
Pull your mic a little bit closer.
Yeah, I am by trade. I say I have an IT consulting business.
You have a what consulting business?
IT.
IT. Okay.
Yeah, I've been in IT pretty much my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah, it kills you slowly, piece by piece. Yeah. So I do that, and then I do, because of that, being only woman in a male-dominated industry,
Mm-hmm.
some coaching and mentoring on the side, which I kind of expanded in the last couple of years to do that outside of the corporate world and into the personal world.
So what age are the people you're coaching?
My avatar, if you'd like to call it, would be my old self, which is, the 35-year-old woman who maybe has a couple kids and realizes that, what am I doing with my life? Because I've pretty much been doing all the things for everybody else my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and not feeling fulfilled. So it's usually that 35 to 40 age range,
Mm-hmm.
Majority women, because, I can relate to that. And I live in Pickering.
Okay.
Have you guys heard of that?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on the east side of the city.
Perfect. So I wanted to just quickly just talk about really the purpose of why we do this podcast, right? Right now, I kind of find that the world is very divided. And I feel that the mentality is that if you don't agree with my opinion on certain things, then, we're not going to be friends, right? Everyone's kind of like polar opposites at this point. And we were talking earlier about Fox News, for example, right? So what's really happened in the media world, and this is kind of becoming the norm, you've got these news outlets, and what they do is they attract a certain type of viewer. And once they attract that viewer, they now know how to keep that viewer, right? Engaged. So Fox News, for example, will always support the right. They're always going to support the Republicans. They're always going to support Donald Trump currently. Donald Trump can never do any wrong, right? So if you love Donald Trump, you're watching Fox News, and that's a given. Then the other side of it is CNN, right? So CNN's more on the left. They're going to support Biden and so on, or Harris right now. And both of these networks they don't really deliver the news anymore. It's just really an opinion. They're just basically telling you what you want to hear. You're not going to be, if for example, Donald Trump currently is under investigation, he's got a whole bunch of cases going on against him, you're not going to see a lot of coverage of that on Fox News. And if you ever do, they're going to be ridiculing it. So they're going to be making fun of it, calling it a witch hunt and so on and so forth. On the flip side, if you watch CNN, when Trump was in power, even if he did do some good things, you're never going to hear that on CNN. They're never going to praise him. So what CNN has done and what Fox News has done is they've captured their audience, and now they know how to keep them engaged by just pushing the same opinion over and over. So it's not really news anymore. So there's a term that's called the silo effect. And what that means is, let's say, for example, if you look at the table we have here, people to my left love Donald Trump and people to my right hate Donald Trump. All of your social media feed is going to be related to that. All the people you interact with is going to be related to that. The people you follow, whether it's going to be on Twitter or TikTok, Instagram, is going to be related to your opinion on that specific person. So if I was to come to someone on my left, let's say if I came to Michelle and say, hey, you know what? These are the strong points on if Trump was to win, this is where I think, the world's going to benefit. One of them would be he's going to end the war in Russia and Ukraine. That's a given. That's the first thing he's going to do. So he does do good things, right? But because you guys hate him, you're like, oh no, he's a horrible person. We don't want him in power. He's done nothing good whatsoever. So this silo effect that's been created, it now has divided people. And if you don't, so if I like Trump and you hate him, you're not my friend because we have nothing in common. So in the past, you could communicate, talk about things, and you're allowed to have your own opinion. Today, it's like, how dare you? So the same thing with the abortion law in the US, right? You've got people that are pro-choice and you have people that are pro-life. And if I happen to be pro-choice and I believe it's a woman's body, it's her choice, people are like, oh, you're a murderer, you're a child killer. It's like, no, don't label me with all these things. I'm allowed to have my opinion, but because I have that, now they hate me, right? So the purpose of the podcast is to really create dialogue. So if we use Trump as an example, there are some good things that Trump has done. It's not that he's all bad, but people who dislike him or hate him or believe in that narrative will think, oh, that's fake news. He's never done anything good. He's horrible. And then the other side, with people who do support Trump, there are some bad things that he's done. But if you speak to them, they're like, oh, it's a witch hunt. You guys are just attacking him. You hate him. No, because no one is perfect. So as Ricky Gervais has said, just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right. So what I like to do is create a dialogue. I want people to open up their minds and realize that, hey, this is my opinion on abortion, for example. I am pro-life. This person over here is pro-choice or whatever. Why do they have that opinion? Right? Open up your mind. You may have your opinion for your own reason, but that other individual may have gone through a certain experience to get them to where they are. And now when they explain that, you might be like, oh my God, there actually are two sides to the coin. And I do understand that, especially with abortion, with the way the law is in the US, if a 12-year-old girl was raped, she has to keep the child. It's fucking ridiculous. And it's like, oh, it is what it is. And you've got some people who are part of the government will say the most disgusting, stupid things like, oh, if a woman got raped, she can prevent herself from getting pregnant. She got pregnant because she was enjoying it. It's like, no, that's not how it works. You don't get pregnant because you're enjoying it, And how could you allow a 12-year-old girl who got raped and force her to keep the child of her rapist?
But it's kind of even more than that, though, too, Kim. Like, I was reading stories about girls who, when they do the genetic testing, that would find out their babies, had have, muscle...
The DNA stuff.
Yeah, like, they'd have genetic disorders that wouldn't allow them to live past a certain age. They'd inform the parents of this, and then the parents would decide, equally, like, we need to do this, because we're not going to, bring a child into this that's going to go through nothing but pain and suffering with a lifespan of less than whatever age, and they're still getting denied the abortion, and they're still having to go through with it, knowing full well what's going to happen to the child, and that's hard on new parents, that's hard on parents, period.
You know what the worst thing is right now with this whole abortion thing in the US? If a girl did have this experience when she's, underage, and she wanted to get an abortion, she will have to go in front of a judge and explain everything in detail on what took place. Like, imagine a 14-year-old girl or a 15-year-old girl to have to share that with a stranger and kind of confess and he can ask her all kinds of questions on how it happened and what took place and blah blah. And then you being able to get an abortion is being left in the hands of this strange individual.
And
You don't even know.
I hate to sound morbid, but the increase of like, what's the nice way of putting this? Toilet bowl babies. Do you know what I'm saying? The girls that they don't want to tell anybody because they're pregnant, because now they're scared, and instead of going to like a Planned Parenthood, they have no choice. So they're covering it up for 9 months, and then they're terrified when it happens, and it already does happen sometimes where kids, they'll throw the baby out, or they'll just leave it in the toilet. And I can see the increase in the States of that happening because teenagers aren't going to want to tell their parents, let alone a judge.
Yeah, because when you tell the judge, everybody knows.
Especially if you have a religious background.
Yeah, you're being shamed.
The shame.
You're being shamed. That's exactly what it is, right? You're being shamed, and that is not going to encourage other young girls, to step up.
Not only that, if that, like, and I know this is extreme, but it's an ADHD thought, but not only that, those young girls, they want to do anything in the future in their life, like apply for office. Do you know that's a smear campaign waiting to happen?
Yeah, to mention
Like
what happened to her past.
college applications, all of that stuff. That's just like a way, that's just like, and again, like what we were talking about, our opinions are really only based on the information that we have. So if we can dialogue back and forth and give people more information that they weren't aware of, then opinions can change and we'll have to move on.
It's also not just the information we have, it's also experiences. And I think that is deeper, right? Because if you know someone that's been affected by something, then you firsthand have a good opinion on it, right? As opposed to people just choosing one side just because of how they feel, right? So let's move forward. So Chris, we can play this first video. If you ladies can just watch the video.
The U.S. has the highest rate of children living in a single-parent household of any nation in the world. This is not an area we want to be competing with other countries. China's at 3, India's at 4, the world's at 7. We're at 23% in America. About 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers. 90% of all homeless and runaway children. 63% of teen suicide. 85% of children and teens with behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. Roughly 70% of teenage pregnancies come from women raised in a fatherless home. Fatherless kids are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated and 11 times more likely to exhibit violent behavior than children from two-parent households. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chances as children raised by just their father. If somebody's watching and saying, "Oh my God, you're discounting women, you're discounting mothers," go get upset at the stats, not at me.
Okay, well, I would say you can make a stat say anything you want. And this is part of the problem, to your point just a minute ago, is that, right, it's siloed information. I mean, he doesn't talk about how many billionaires didn't go to college, for example, right? Or how many billionaires or millionaires came from a single parent home. So this is always, and I know, I follow that guy, and I know the kind of marriage and agreement that they have. That's not a marriage to me. So would you rather stay in a shitty marriage? Right?
I don't think he's talking about, I mean, that's a separate topic, right? About talking about whether you stay in a marriage or not. I think he's talking about the results of, if you have, for example, a family where they got a divorce, right? And the woman got the children, and she has them, majority of the time. So she is the primary caretaker in comparison to the smaller percentage of fathers who get the children. So I think even in Canada, it's something like 78% of all family court cases, the woman gets full custody, or she's the primary parent, and the father gets to see the kids on the weekends or on holidays and stuff. So what he's talking about is the results now that you've got now children that are living with just the mother, and then you've got a smaller percentage of children living just with the father. And now he's talking about the results of when those children grow up in that household, what the outcomes are. And I've read this, it's not just, we just played this video because I want to play at least something for content, but I've researched this very, very closely. And this has nothing to really do about, the woman was in an abusive marriage and she had no choice. That's not the issue here. The issue here is the parenting style is what we're talking about. So in a home where the primary caretaker is just the mother because they've been divorced or separated, that home, because a woman is a lot more emotional in her thinking, which it's a beautiful thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but men are more rational when it comes to their thinking. And that has a different effect when it comes to children. you need to have the ideal case is both. You definitely want to have both. That's the perfect balance, right? So it's a perfect harmony. But unfortunately, we live in a society where it's profitable to get
But
divorced.
sorry to cut you off here. Is that the case when one of them, like, is not in the world as well? Like, they are, they
Yeah,
die?
if they passed away. So this has to do with just parenting styles. Women are more emotional. I mean, you're all women. Do you agree that women are
So
more,
by emotional,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
exactly that they're more emotional?
What does that mean? They're too soft, they're too hard, they cry, they yell. Like there's
It's a
whole
variety of
range
things,
emotions.
meaning that, so I'm happy you said that, it's a whole range of emotions. So from day to day, it could vary. The consistency part is not there because they are emotional. So based on how they're feeling moment to moment, that's how they're also parenting as well.
So you're
So the consistency is lacking.
right. Okay, but then your conclusion is that that doesn't lead to good leaders or
No,
or business.
the conclusion to that is that what's happening is in society now we have so many more fatherless homes than we have motherless homes. Because again, back to this, the number I told you, that almost 80% of family law cases in Canada, the woman gets majority custody. So that home doesn't have a father in it, right? And then the result of that is you have more children now who are into crime. You have more children now who commit suicide. You have more teen pregnancies that are taking place. You have more violence that's taking place as well too. You have a lot more people that are being incarcerated in prison as well. And when you look at the stats in comparison to the children who come from a motherless home or just the father, the numbers are way lower. It's night and day in comparison. So I've researched this for weeks and weeks and weeks before we brought it into here as a topic, because this is important to understand that I'm not saying a mother is not needed in a home. They both are. They both have their strengths. But the household that lacks a father as a role model, the outcome in that household or the percentage or possibility of the children in that household
What you are saying, it is like more like sometimes the violent and toxic atmosphere raises these kind of children. Not exactly like mother and father. I've seen mother raising their kids and they are like so obedient, so polite and kind, and I've seen all those. Maybe it's because the cultural difference.
it could be that again.
Yeah, but what I can understand is like where the point that you mentioned, yes, it can be true, because mostly what happens is like, mothers are taken for granted always, and children usually can, like, because they see that their the hold of the mother on their children is way less than that of a man. Like, a
What do you
man
mean by
can
hold?
basically handle like kids in a different way, like, the manliness or whatever you want to call it, and like some sort of the personality, maybe overall it can just make them feel a little bit what do you call, a little bit
Scared. Threatened.
scared or intimidated, maybe.
Intimidated.
Yes.
That's a good word.
But with mothers, what happens is like, if you want to go out and they will say like, okay, don't go, and then they will know I have to, like, and then mother is like, okay, then go, like, she loses the hold. That's what hold is.
So that's a big thing, right?
Yes.
So
Whereas the man, once he says with a louder voice,
he doesn't even have to use a loud voice.
doesn't even have to, but
Just-
like once he says no, that brings a lot of conviction and intimidation.
Yep.
Maybe because of that.
Well, I
So
mean,
I get the point
it's
there.
different roles we're talking about here, right?
Mhm.
So,
Maybe it's
you know,
natural.
I find that a lot of women get offended by this. I talk to a lot of women, they get like, oh my God, that means I'm a horrible mother. No, no one's saying that.
No.
You have your strengths,
Mhm.
and fathers have their strengths. And in a household, especially in the society that we live in today, with so much influence from social media and children having the wrong type of role models and all that, having an authoritative figure goes a very long way in a home. Like you said, if the rules laid down that no, you're not going out, you're not going out. That's
Yeah.
that. There's no negotiating. You're not going to talk back to me. I said it, it's done.
Mhm.
Whereas with the mom, she'll try to, but she'll get frustrated after a while,
Yes.
especially when the kids get into the teenage years. And that's where the danger can happen.
Mhm.
That's where the problems kick in.
Hundo
Right.
when my boyfriend was sneaking in from high school, my mom would catch him in my bedroom. She'd just close the door and pretend like, because my dad would leave for work in the morning and she knew my dad would never come in my room and check on me, so she'd just leave it. 2 times that my dad came in and found him, I still hear about it to this day. I still go to my dad's to visit and he's like, yeah, remember that time your boyfriend was climbing in through the window? I'm like, Dad, that was literally like almost 20 years ago. He's like, I still remember like it was yesterday. He's gonna remember that day he dies.
I feel that when it comes to homes where there is a father present, there's order in that home.
Mhm.
And when there is, obviously in a home where the mother's not present, some of that nurturing isn't there. But if you look at a scale, because of the society that we live in, and because of so much outside influence, and obviously you're going to think I'm being biased because I'm a male, children need more of that control. They need that structure. They need the rules. They need that. And they're enforced because, they're disciplined. Because if you take that away,
You end up with 187 different genders.
there you go. Or it just anything can happen at that point, right? The girl, your daughter, might be pregnant, or she might end up on a pole, or your kids are doing drugs. You don't know, right? But if there's control, there is that discipline, whether through intimidation or just the fact that the father has that dominating role, it has a different effect. It's not easy for a woman to raise 2-3 kids on her own, to be the nurturer and then also be the enforcer. That's why God's made it that way, where you have a man and a woman raising the children together. That's the perfect, obviously, outcome, right? That's the best possible way. But I would much rather, even if I look at my childhood, I would much rather have always wanted to have the enforcer or someone there who's going to be in control and there's discipline and order, in opposed to that missing and having more of the nurturing. It's kind of like, if you know anyone that's ever joined the Army, or if they've ever joined the Air Force. I have a brother of mine who's a part of the Air Force. And I don't know if you women, some of you might be too young, but remember the movie Officer and a Gentleman? Remember that? I don't know if you remember it very well. I think it was Richard Gere that was in that movie, right? So what do they do when a person first joins? Whether it's the Navy, it could be the Air Force, it could be the Marines, whatever. What do they do first with the individual? They break him down.
They humble you.
Yeah, they insult the shit out of him, tell him he's a piece of garbage. And every single thing that he knows up until that day is useless. Let him know, you're a useless piece of shit, you're garbage, you're scum, you're nothing. And we're going to turn you into a man. So they completely destroy him, destroy his ego, destroy his attitude. They beat it out of him. So if he's one of these people who's rebellious and he talks back, okay, give me 100 push-ups. Go do this. If they now use a toothbrush with clean all the toilets, until he's completely humble and his attitude is gone. And then they build him back up again.
Right. So they make them into a cookie cutter, right? They basically whip your personality out of you.
Yeah.
And,
No, they still retain their personality. This isn't about personality. This is about way of life. Personality has to do with, for example, if I like, I like, soft, I like this type of music, or I like that. That's completely different because this is about, they discipline you.
Yeah, but your attitude is part of your personality, right?
Okay.
So I think that, and I think maybe this also has a different effect on males versus females, right?
What
like,
does?
so what you were talking about with the male role model or the structure and So would a father in the household be as structured or orderly with their daughter? Like I have one of each, right? I have a son and the daughter. And I could tell you in my household it wasn't that way. Even with my own father, right? He wasn't.
Were both your parents present?
Me growing up until I was 15.
Okay.
But my dad was the disciplinarian. But my point is that he wasn't the same with me as a girl as he was with my brother.
But your mom was present then, you're saying?
Yeah, but
okay.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why.
No, he stayed around. Like he stayed around.
No, what I'm saying is that if a father is pushed into the position where he has full custody of the children, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He's the primary parent.
Right.
He will have no choice but to try to adapt in those areas. Whereas for a woman, if she's going to be a single mom, she has no choice but to try to adapt into the area of creating structure and discipline, all that. She's going to have a tougher time with that.
No, Jan, I would still disagree with that. Because,
Numbers don't lie, but go ahead.
Like, I mean, yeah, I'm not too much about numbers. It's about, like, I have been raised by a single mother because my father was no longer there. Like when I was 15 and when I turned 15, I have an elder sister.
Mm-hmm.
So she paved the path for the both of us. Like my mom was like, it was not that much of like, education wise. She was not that educated and stuff like that. But my sister paved the path for the both of us.
Okay.
So I will not say that it is because my father was not there, we just stranded or we just,
That's not what I'm saying.
That never happened with us. I mean.
So Neha, you're the exception. That's why we're not saying it's 100%.
Like maybe that's what I said. Like it's the culture.
So these numbers here, for example, okay, these numbers come from them talking to people who are incarcerated, okay, who are in prison. They look at the stats, okay. They look at the numbers of all these, young teen girls getting pregnant. Okay, being single moms, what their household is like. Okay, look at people who've committed suicide, and they see again what household they came from. Was it by their father? Was it just the dad? Was it just the mom? Okay, people who are committing acts of violence or they're in abusive relationships. How did they when they were raised? Was it a single mom? Was it a single dad? So these numbers don't lie. And there's my reason for mentioning this is not to bash women. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get people to wake up and realize that. The minute that our government encourages homes to be broken, okay, the moral fiber of society is going to fall apart, and that's why we are where we're at today. My view, like what I would do, and I think this would be amazing, is, if someone goes in to get a marriage license, I think that by law, that couple should have to go for 5 counseling sessions before they get married. They should go individually, then as a couple, to see if they're actually a good fit and to teach them how to communicate, how to get along, how to love each other, so on and so forth.
And what, they get a pass or a fail?
No, they just have to do that. Now, if they're getting...
I did that. I got divorced.
But imagine, I'm saying if it was mandatory. Now, when they get divorced...
It isn't Catholic.
No,
Catholic.
Again, it's not mandatory in I'm talking about when it comes to in Canada, right? So when you get a marriage license, I'm saying. Now, let's say if you want to file for a divorce, that again, they get the couple to sit down with a marriage counselor or a therapist or whoever and have 5 sessions to see if you can salvage the marriage. I see nothing wrong in that. I feel that very often with a lot of these relationships, they lived together, they were in love, they did live together, they have children together. There are some marriages that can be saved. I don't believe that, oh no, if we were to offer this to people, then it'd be the same result. Absolutely not. Because very often what happens is if you're going through problems in your marriage, it depends on who are you talking to. Who's giving you advice on that? Is another divorcee? Well, she's not going to advise you the right way. She's going to give you all the wrong advice. She wants you to be divorced. Because she had a horrible marriage.
I'm going to agree with that because when me and Chris went through a rough patch, I'm going to say 4 to 5 of my girlfriends all went. Honestly, I could see it. You should just go, just leave, just leave. But I'm married to the dude, right? Like
instead of advising you,
and that's I'm not gonna lie. A few of the friends I felt like I was like, yo, do you want me to feel like how you're feeling right now? Because I was like, I feel like there's shit happen, but there's something there to fight for. At the end of the day, possibly, maybe, I don't know, but
To give up just like that. I mean,
It's a
especially
little
if you have
strange.
children,
Yeah.
right? And I know how women are when it comes to other women, that you guys kind of feel like you got each other's backs. I'm sorry. That's a bunch of bullshit.
And friends don't know the whole
Okay.
story.
No.
I mean, your friends don't know.
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
Never
That's
let
true.
any
So true.
third person give opinion.
Yeah, especially on your marriage.
When it's
Yeah.
not your marriage.
That's why
Yeah.
I solely believe that at the end of every year of marriage, you sit down and you decide, do you want to renew this contract? Or if you don't want to renew it, you guys grow. People grow, and then if you don't want to renew it,
I mean, communication's key, right? So what's happened now, though, in society is the same way when people date and they have like a 2-year or 3-year relationship. When they get married, look at it the same way. They don't have the tolerance.
Are people still getting married?
The numbers have dropped.
I did.
I mean,
No.
I did.
how long ago?
I mean,
I got married 2021,
Right, but you're like 30s.
32.
Like-
Yeah, 32.
But Michelle, it depends on when you say people. Are you talking about people who are living in Canada? Are you like what are you talking?
Well, what are we talking about? Same
So
thing,
so
in general.
again, so now that because we've had a huge influx of immigrants coming in, yeah, they're still getting married, but maybe the numbers are a lot lower for Caucasians. But if you look at the minorities, there's weddings taking place all the time.
Right,
you know?
right.
But-
Yeah.
There's marriages, but I understand the numbers have declined.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why they declined, right? Because the sanctity of marriage is no longer there. It's literally like dating. Like a girl will get married with a guy, they'll have some disputes. It's like, oh no, fuck it, I'm divorcing him. Or the guy will do it.
Well,
Instead of trying to work it out and get through that, right?
I was at the dispensary once, right? And a guy was like, had asked me out. I told him, I'm married. And I said, like, I have a ring on. He goes, yeah, but girls wear rings on that finger all the time now, so you never know. And I thought about it, and it's true. You see girls wearing fingers on their rings all the time. How is a guy supposed to actually know if you're married or not? Because, like, it's not as common nowadays. It's not as authentic nowadays.
I find the value is gone. It's not
Yeah.
really there anymore. I'm not downplaying the fact that there aren't, men or women who are not in an abusive relationship. Well, definitely exists. I'm not saying that, if you're in an abusive relationship, you should stick it out. No, I'm not saying that. But I find that very often the problems that are taking place in the marriage it just has a lot to do with communication. It's miscommunication. And
Yeah.
people are just not getting
People-
each other.
people don't want to make efforts
Yeah,
anymore.
they're not willing to swallow their pride. They're not willing to apologize. They're not willing to grow. They're not willing to learn. They're not willing to make sacrifices. Marriage is about sacrifice.
Hmm.
Like every marriage requires work, and it's constant work. And you really have to learn to forgive and forget. Right? You can't have this attitude. I'm not going to put up with this shit. Okay, well, let's look at what shit you're actually putting up with.
Women are forgive and forget until later.
Not all women. Some women won't. I get your point, but some women, they're too hurt by what took place, and they're just not willing to let
Right.
that slide. And when you look at the greater picture, it's like you've got kids, and you both have families, and this split is going to have like a ripple effect, and it's going to affect the next generation. No, it's okay. I'll meet somebody else, and then later on they regret it because okay, I'm not really meeting anybody else.
I think some of that is just some of this I think is generational, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of girlfriends. I'm 54. I have a lot of girlfriends who are in marriages and won't get out of them for the kids, and their kids are 24 and 27.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when are the kids old enough? Like, you're living
Yeah.
miserable. You guys don't even talk. Your kids can see it. Nobody's happy in the family unit. Like, so there is the opposite for my generation.
Yeah.
Today's generation, I feel like it's just everything is so immediate, right? It's immediate gratification, and if you're not doing it for me, there's
Goodbye.
somebody else.
I completely
Your
agree.
iPhone, your food, nothing. There's no commitment anymore
Yeah.
to anything.
There's no effort being put in.
Yeah,
It's
because you're right. It is
Because
work.
there's no value, right? Because like you said, everything's available instantaneous.
Right. It's immediate
Yeah,
gratification.
they don't have any value to it.
Yeah.
If we can move on, Chris, and put the one up of plastic. This is something we talked about last time, remember? You'll see, Cheyanne.
Are Costco and Whole Foods selling fake fruits? I've been hearing about this, but check out what's happening to these people.
When she opens it and she breaks it in half, it gets very tough and doesn't really break. And when it pulls, it's like it's glue.
Like, it's not even breaking, like, at all. Like, and I know you guys can't feel the texture, Avi, right? Because it's a video. But, like, It literally feels fake.
Those of people posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubbery watermelon. The texture is so weird. Like,
but there's a clanking, and it sounds like something's stuck. So I go in the drain, and there's a blueberry that's not breaking apart. It's not doing anything. It's what's making the noise. And I pick it up, and why is there a rubber blueberry in my toddler's snack? This came from the carton of blueberries. My husband cut it in half. I really don't know if you can see it that well. Glistening, it's silicone. It's a silicone blueberry. It is a solid rubber blueberry. She is under 2. I got this at Whole Foods also. Organic. I was trying to do the right thing.
So, has anyone experienced this? First of all,
Not first.
anyone?
No, thank God.
I
Never
did.
heard of it.
I actually did.
You did.
Because remember, Cheyanne, you brought this up. I was
And you
like,
didn't believe me.
I was like, I was like, I
You're
don't
like
know.
conspiracy theory.
And then I got avocados from Costco. And that's exactly what it was. I cut it, and I couldn't put my spoon into it. And when I touched it, avocado isn't, when it goes ripe, you can smush it, you can squeeze it,
Yeah.
right? You can
Mhm.
press down on it, right?
Yeah.
No matter how much I pressed on it, no matter how much I tried to scoop it up with a spoon, it wouldn't happen. It was all rubbery inside. This is messed up. So, why is this happening?
Okay, so I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but I can kind of believe this and I can kind of see it, that apparently Bill Gates and another person, they have apparently bought up like a bunch of farmland and companies, like Burt's Bees, a bunch of food companies, all these things. And the rumor is that apparently COVID-19 was kind of like an experiment to see people's resistance against vaccines. And now that they know that people are a little bit more resistant in some areas, the vaccines are going in the food. I've heard that, and that's why they're becoming rubbery. And I've also heard that Bill Gates now owns the largest amount of farmland. And
He owns a large amount of land in the U.S.
Farmland.
Not even farm.
Oh, just okay, land
in
as
general.
well.
He keeps buying up all types of land.
And I've heard that apparently he's now teamed up with Coca-Cola, and they're putting nanoparticles in all of their drinks, like AI nanoparticles to read people's bodies.
So Bill Gates supports companies like Monsanto. You guys know what Monsanto is?
GMO.
Yeah, Monsanto's the devil. Like, have you guys seen the movie Michael Clayton with George Clooney? No? So Clooney's done a couple of really good movies. So this movie is really about Monsanto. So Monsanto is the company that has that weed killing product called Roundup.
Mm-hmm.
So Monsanto was sued by workers who used to use Roundup. And one gentleman got terminal cancer. He won like $200 million from them. So Monsanto, what they do is they create GMO food, right? Genetically modified organisms. What is it? It's basically a seed that's been manufactured. Like, it's not grown, it's actually manufactured, okay? And the crazy part about farming, you guys know what pollinating is? Well, you know how that works, right?
Mm.
So you have like bees and they pollinate,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right? So let's say if my farm is a Monsanto farm, so I get GMOs, right? So all of my crops, basically what GMO is that the product itself is very resistant to any of these chemicals that they spray, right? To keep all the bugs off and so on and so forth. And often they put stuff within the seed itself, okay? Now, let's say you have a farm right beside mine and you're non-GMO, right? You're not Monsanto. And your bees came to pollinate on my land and took the seed back to yours. You owe me money. And you rightfully, that's the law. Because you're now using my GMO seed, and whatever profit you're making from your product has to come to me. How insane is that?
That's crazy.
Who the hell can control that?
And even for like the organic, like if you're trying to buy organic and your farm is right next to, and there's a gust of wind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the crops get mixed up.
Right.
So Monsanto, what happened with them is that they had all of these lawsuits going against them because when they first introduced GMO foods, a lot of people were getting sick. So what did Monsanto do? They hired a bunch of scientists to make false reports, right? They put in a whole bunch of false stuff saying, oh no, GMO is very, very safe. There's no issue with it whatsoever, and blah, blah. So there was this movie, Michael Clayton's, about a whistleblower who kind of basically exposed, they don't say the word, they don't use the word Monsanto, it's a different company. And obviously he dies, right? Someone kills him. But the whole point behind all of this is that the food that we're eating today, first of all, every product that you're eating or drinking has plastic in it. Did you guys know that?
That's why I bought this.
No, the water that you're
The
drinking
hydrogen. This is a hydrogen.
won't make a difference.
It's glass.
It is glass, but I'm saying what I mean by that is that the amount of plastic pollution that's out there,
Right.
every animal and pretty much every plant has got these microscopic particles of plastic in it. It's inevitable. So all of us have plastic in us. Like there's a certain amount of plastic that we consume every single day, right? You have that. Then you have these companies that are manufacturing, products that are supposed to be grown naturally. But just the thought of that is gross. So they did a test once where they took GMO fruits and vegetables and put them in a forest. And then a couple of miles away, they put organically grown fruits and vegetables. And they had cameras everywhere. And the animals would come up to smell the GMO stuff and wouldn't eat it. Can you believe that? Like deers and rabbits they wouldn't eat it. Whereas they would eat the other stuff. So if they know, and we're just consuming it, we don't even give a crap.
And they think it's smart to grow meat in a lab
Oh,
after
it's
all this.
disgusting.
Like, you get what I'm saying? If they genetically modified a seed and it's not looking too well, like, y'all think it was great to just start
That's the
growing
future.
meats?
They're growing meats now.
Like, I understand for food preservation, whatever the claim is, whatever, I get the theory of it. But if the history shows that genetically modified seeds is not working well
It's
for...
not healthy. It just isn't healthy for you. Right? There's an argument with Bill Gates where he was talking and saying, well, the people who are starving in Africa, at least if they're getting GMO rice, it's better than nothing. No, it's better if they get nothing.
Bill Gates, you could give everybody $1 billion in the world and you would all be rich. And you would still have money.
He doesn't have that much money.
Was that Elon Musk? I don't know.
No.
Maybe it's one of them.
People don't, whatever you saw that video of, that person was horrible in math. There's like 7 billion people.
Yeah.
Again, I think, what is Elon Musk worth? More than that. He's worth more than $7 billion.
You're talking about giving everyone $1 billion?
Or $1 million, even $1 million.
But these guys are not going to do that.
But then don't talk about genetically modified rice when you have that amount of money sitting in your bank account.
Well, that's why he has that amount of money.
They're making.
Yeah, see, 236 billion.
So is the government.
Yeah, but that's why they're doing it, though, right, Cheyanne? That's why they have the money.
Yeah, well, that's
It's because that's what they do, right? So, back in the day, I'm talking if you go back to the time when, Truman or even JFK, when they were presidents, when you voted for people to come into power, you voted for them because they were actually going to make your life better. That was their responsibility. Right. The constituents would vote for people and say, okay, I'm voting for you because you promised this, 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 and we're going to hold you accountable. Today, when we vote for the lesser evil.
Right.
Because they're all corrupt. I don't care who is going to... I don't care now if Pierre Poilievre comes in. I don't care if Trump goes in or Harris. The first thing that they're going to do is fill their pockets. And they're going to do it in a legal way. And then they're going to do that with their family. So I watched this video, and they're talking about when Trudeau came into power. They showed a photo of him when he got married and all of his best men that he had. And 3 of them or 4 of them, right after he became prime minister, he gave them positions.
Of course.
Yeah. One of them became the Minister of Indigenous Affairs. And this guy has no experience in it. And the Auditor General has caught him overspending over and over again. But there was no penalty. He didn't lose his job. So you think that if any one of us were to go into office, I don't care how much of a conscience you have. The minute you go into office, you're given a key. I'm kind of like, giving you guys like a metaphor here. You have a key now to the vault. And that vault has got unlimited money. Unlimited, coming in every single second. Tax money, all kinds of money coming in. Who's monitoring that? The people who work for you because you're the leader of that country. You have the key.
Yeah.
You're going to start dipping. You might have a conscience. You might, you know what? My mom's home's about to get foreclosed, and now you're still just saying, come on, Cam, you got to help out mom. She's going to lose her house. Just get $100,000. No one's going to say anything. So I go in there at night, I'm taking 100 grams, and I see this minister and that minister, they're also in there with their hand in a cookie jar. And now everyone knows what they're doing. So now they've come out with a foolproof way. And how do they do it? They have one way, which is when they put out tenders. I don't believe that's done in a legitimate manner.
I don't either.
No way is
No
it done
way.
legitimately. People who win these contracts and overnight their companies become multi-million.
Getting kickbacks.
100%. Then you've got all of this money being donated to foreign countries. Where the fuck is all this money going? The U.S. has already given over $180 billion.
Where is it even coming from? Like, it's just
Taxpayers,
made up.
taxpayers' money.
But it's all made up.
Oh, it's all paper. It's all just the numbers.
Exactly.
You're right. So, but either way, all of this money that has been sent to Ukraine, what has that done? The people in Ukraine are still starving. Where's all that money going? So it leaves. It might go from here to Bahamas and to an offshore account. Then it might go to Turkey. Then it might go to Cairo. Then this and that. And by the time it gets to Ukraine, if it was like, let's say 50 billion, there's maybe a couple hundred million. You know, the Clinton Foundation, which is run by Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. Do you guys remember when they had the whole tsunami in Haiti?
Mm-hmm.
So the Clinton Foundation, and Chris, if you want to look this up, how much money the Clinton Foundation gave to the Haiti relief, they raised something stupid like $200 million. Okay? How much do you think of that went to Haiti?
Couple 100,000.
Like 2 million, I think. The rest was admin cost.
Wow.
I swear to you, I'm not lying. It's all public information. It's like, what the fuck?
Like, that's how the majority of a lot of charities do work. About 80 to 90% of your dollar goes to administration fees. There's very, very few. Like Ronald McDonald House, it's one of the very few.
There's a few, like UNICEF. There's some good ones.
UNICEF
But
is another one.
You know the charity March of Dimes?
Mm-hmm.
You know why it's called March of Dimes? Because only 10 cents of every dollar goes to charity.
But this is a tax write-off for the Clintons.
100%.
That's why they say, oh, it's
Yeah.
millions of dollars.
World Vision was caught where I think if they had a president there at World Vision, he was caught trying to embezzle, over almost $1 million out of there. If you go to Loblaws or all these these places, yeah.
So it was they allocated and promised 4.4 billion, and Haiti only received 300 million.
Look at that. That's insane. That's like less than 10%. Okay, so if you go to Loblaws and you buy something, it says, "Do you want to donate $2 and all that?" A lot of you guys do it.
Yeah.
You feel bad, right? You go get $2 or what? Especially if someone's watching. You go, oh, okay. Or if you go through the cash and like, "Oh, do you want to donate something to the sick kids?" They go, okay, get $5, and they give you some stupid parachute thing, and you write something on there, and they paste on the wall, and you feel good.
Yeah.
That's a tax write-off for them. They're not the ones who donated that money. That's not my point. So if Loblaws that year, I'll keep the numbers small, made a profit of $1 million, and then they collected donation money, right, from everyone that surpassed the million, they're paying nothing in tax.
Exactly.
So if they made a profit of $1 million, whatever tax they say, they got to pay, $400,000 in tax. But all of us donated to them $3 million. They have a credit.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Bro, I get it. It connected.
Yeah.
It's ADHD connected. That's some bullshit.
It is bullshit. And all of us get scammed into it. Oh, it's a good cause. The good cause is going to Loblaws.
I'm gonna be ripping those parachutes down. You hear me now?
Yeah. Those are hot air balloons. They're not parachutes. They're
You
hot
get
air
what I'm?
balloons.
No, but are you serious? So people. Let me get this straight.
People are so stupid.
We donate to them. They write it off as a tax, whatever.
So listen, what they do is, let's say if in 2023, Loblaws owed $1 million in taxes.
Correct.
They collected from all of us donating $2 million in donations.
They have a credit of $1 million.
They have a credit of $1 million for the following year on the tax that they owe.
These guys gotta go to fucking jail.
No, it's legalized. That's the country. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Politics.
That's the whole thing here. Is that when we elect these people, we truly believe. Oh, this next guy. I want to tell a quick little story. Have you girls heard of Mouseland?
No. Oh, I love this story.
Chris, can you pull up Mouseland? And there's a video for it. Okay? Just pull up Mouseland, and I think you have to pull up Mouseland Premier Alberta. And I think the gentleman's name was McDonald. So this premier is the one who started Medicare in Alberta with that free Medicare. He's the first one. He's also the one, and then all the other provinces wanted as well. He's the first one to start the Canadian pension as well too, right? So, and then eventually he became prime minister. So he came up with this thing that's called Mouseland. So Mouseland is a land where there's mice that live there. Okay? Did you find the video? It's animated.
Yeah.
How long is it?
7 minutes.
Can you just kind of just play like the beginning and then near the end? Guys, I want you ladies to watch this, okay? This is really intriguing.
Hold on.
So in Mouseland, it's all mice that live there, but the politicians are all cats. Like they're fat cats, okay? And they lay down these ground rules, okay? It's incredible. So they lay down these...
Story, the one with the flute?
No, it's not that at all.
Oh, okay.
So they lay down these rules that the mice can only run at a certain speed.
Mm-hmm.
They lay down these rules that in cartoons you see like a house for a mouse in a small little hole.
Yeah.
No, the hole must be 3 feet.
So the cat can get in.
Okay. And so what happens is, and actually, Chris, you can add that in later on. Okay. What happens is that the mice are complaining that mice are dying. So people like, my son didn't make it home yesterday. And other person's like, I don't know who my best friend is and what the hell's going on. So they kind of have like this rally. And they all get together and they're freaking out. They're like, we need a change. So finally, one mouse gets up on a hill and says, mice, listen to me. The mistake that we're making is we're electing cats. We need to elect mice. Mice know what's best for us because that person's a mouse. And if we elect a bunch of mice, they're going to know what's going to be better for us. And they're going to make the rules and laws. They're going to benefit us. And guess what all the mice did? They started yelling, traitor, traitor.
Of course.
That's society in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that we elect, even though we think, and this guy Pierre, I like him. He said a lot of good things. One of the things that he said was he's going to cancel public funding for media. Right? So you guys all know who CBC is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle, how much money do you think CBC gets per year from the government?
I just signed a petition against CBC funding.
Okay, so what's the number?
But I can't recall what the number was. I'm going to say $2 billion.
What do you think it is? Yeah. How much money does the government give to CBC?
Maybe in billions, but not exactly
Okay.
the figure.
I told you girls this before, right? So over 3 billion.
Over 3?
Over 3 billion.
Yeah.
So
Talk about them, like pro.
No, so they give them money because the CBC cannot make enough money on their own. So every year the government gives them $3 billion just to keep their head above water. And you're right. And the reason why they do it is so they say good things about the government.
Yeah.
So Trudeau funds CBC, and you're rarely going to see any negative content on
Yeah.
CBC, right? So Pierre said, I'm not going to be funding. You know what? I know he means well, but that's bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to fund them. He
They
might
all
cut it.
say
Because what's going to happen is when he comes into power, they're going to work out a deal. And they're not going to push any bad stories against him. And he's going to tell people, CBC is a hallmark of Canadians and we can't just abolish it and they need our help. And so he's going to find some excuse. We'll cut the funding. We will give them bullshit. You're going to keep it going because now they're going to be talking positive points about you.
Yeah.
So they sat down with, you put up her picture last time, that redhead, right? The president of CBC, you know what I'm talking about, Michelle?
No.
No? Put up her picture again. Carrot Top is what we should call her. So
Sorry, Catherine.
there it is. Yeah, she's a nut job. I'm sorry. So they had a sit down with her. This was, they have a.
They are not hearing this.
They should. I want them to hear this.
She looks like the girl from American Horror Story, the horror character from the first season.
Oh my
red hair.
gosh.
Do you know what I'm talking about? She really does.
Oh my god.
If you were to hear her talk, and what she has like a lot of arrogance in her voice, and she's a severe ego. So you had the conservatives sitting down to her and doing a Q&A and saying, we'd like to understand something. Last year you gave out $15 million in bonuses. Okay. And since COVID, your advertising has dropped by 80%. Okay. And your viewership has dropped by 40%. I might be wrong. They might be the other way around. Viewership's 80, whatever, but those are the numbers. Okay. And you guys have made more mistakes in news telling than you've ever had before. Every year you get worse and worse. So why would you give people bonuses if you're doing such a bad job? Do you know what her reply was? Her reply was the people who got bonuses were the ones who caught the mistakes. That's why we gave them. So it's like, excuse me? So if you have hospitals that have medical malpractice, you're gonna give them, they're gonna get more bonuses the more malpractices they have.
Well, this is like people I used to work with. They would create the mistakes. They would create the outages so that they could fix them and look like a hero and get paid overtime to fix the problems on the weekends. You know, we'd take down the American Express call center because that guy sabotaged it. And then he looked like a hero on the weekend because he fixed it and he got paid overtime.
Oh my God.
It's the same concept.
It's the same concept that I truly believe in. Chris, you might be able to agree with me. I truly believe that a lot of the viruses that are out online are from the companies who sell
Yes.
antivirus.
Yes, or make the computers.
Yes, what I mean, because that's how they make money.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Like McAfee, I truly believe that they put out viruses.
No, you should actually watch the documentary
About him?
Oh my God, he's a rebel and a half. You'd really.
He's dead though, right?
I don't think so. He was on the run from the FBI for like the longest.
Oh no, I think he's dead now.
Is he?
Chris, can you check? The founder of McAfee, I think they found him.
I feel like they found him.
And he supposedly said he committed suicide.
I don't think.
And he actually got a tattoo on his arm. I think it said, if I have died of suicide, it's because somebody killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly, the documentary on that guy is mind blowing.
Because he was probably exposing all
Yeah.
the...
All the corruption that's taking place. Yeah. He's still alive?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay. They caught him in Spain?
Yeah.
Oh, they caught him?
Yeah, they shut these people down.
They found him. He's not in prison.
Okay, good.
They do that with anyone who knows the truth. They want to shut them down.
And that's why, the thing you said about these food products, because of the unemployment, and also because it's because the scarcity of the commodity, the things are really getting very scarce. I would say that.
Like agriculture?
Yeah. And it's affected badly because of these pollution, like the pollution that they're making.
I think that the agriculture in which you're referring to for the healthier products has become less.
Yes.
But the unhealthy stuff is just blowing up.
Because of that.
Yeah, the amount of corn byproduct that we have in our food or soy, it's just through the roof. Every single possible breakfast snack or whatever, anything that's wrapped in some kind of a wrapping that comes in a box has got soy in it and it's got corn. And it's just filled with
And
GMO
that's why
shit.
you can see those videos.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to correct myself. John McAfee actually died in prison.
I was right.
Oh.
I was thinking I know that, right?
Yeah,
So
apologies.
yeah, so anyone like Julian Assange, right? Any one of these guys who expose the truth, they make their life miserable for them. They'll find a way to knock them off or kill them or arrest them and they disappear. So it's unfortunate, but living in a developed nation, you would think that when you elect people, corruption takes place in poor countries, right?
Yes.
In India, wherever, there's immense amount of corruption that takes place throughout Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Middle East, and all kinds of corruption. But the corruption that takes place in the Western world is really it's organized crime. It's done so well that we're duped. And it's incredible every single time the Auditor General audits a ministry, they all fail. I've never once seen an audit where the Auditor General said, oh, great job. Whether it's the Ministry of Labor, whether it's going to be the Ministry of Transportation, whoever it may be that she audits, there's so much money that's being wasted. Last time we spoke, or we talked about $34.8 million being spent on sleeping bags by the Canadian military, and they couldn't keep the soldiers warm because they're not good for winter. It's why the hell would you not test them? Just test one. Before he spent 35 million, just test one. No, they bought all of them, and none of them are good for winter. And so they're going to go in the garbage. And they're going to buy other ones. And why do you need $35 million worth of sleeping bags anyhow?
I don't know. And I can't even imagine how much they pay their CRA agents.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And now
I'll get to work from home.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you have the $35 million of sleeping bags that are worth nothing. And
Ken, I had a thought about those sleeping bags.
Yeah.
What if they were meant for a warm climate? Is there something we don't know that they might be deployed somewhere?
No, they were specifically bought because they do because they do the army that we have, they do a lot of their drills and so on up north.
But maybe the end goal though is to be somewhere warmer.
No.
No.
They were strictly bought. I get your point. No, they were strictly. So the tender that was put out was that we need sleeping bags We need them for the winter. We need them to keep our soldiers warm. The temperature goes below minus 25, sometimes below minus 35. So they definitely have to be insulated very well. That's it. Really simple. You know, they have to have zippers. They got to be light. They have to be a certain color. And we need this many.
Canada.
And then you had a bunch of manufacturers who went ahead and said, okay, this is what I can do. They said, okay, you won the tender. There's 35 million for you. But no, can you send me a sample?
Okay, but then question is that as a country, as a nation, can we not say, here's your sleeping bags back? We want it's like a 30-day net. Like we're not paying you. Like,
No, that's a good point. But those clauses are already put in the tender.
Well, then we're horrible
And someone
negotiators.
got a kickback.
Of course, not just one. Many people must.
So
have.
they were not going to pay that back.
Yeah, and they knew, or they don't care. They just don't care. It's not their money.
No.
Yeah, and like they use these numbers. Oh, 35 million. It's used so loosely.
Yeah.
35 million. You know how many families you could be feeding in Canada right now? Like, there was a stat that was put out that I believe 57% of Canadians are one paycheck away from defaulting on a payment, whether it's going to be a payment for their cell phone, a loan, a car. They're one payment away.
Yeah.
One paycheck away.
Imagine, as the months go on throughout the year, the mortgage renewals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That are coming up, like $1,500 a month.
Yeah. I was in a bank, and oh my God, the calls I used to get to just
People are
skip
gonna-
payments for skipping the payment. I mean,
Because can't afford it.
it's horrible.
And it's so incredible that purposely the banks have made sure that they knew that there was, I forgot the number, but I think there was like 800 million or almost $1 billion sitting on the table of mortgages that were coming up for renewal. So they made sure the Bank of Canada didn't lower the interest rates till after. So they all have to sign a higher rate. It's just, so Bank of Canada was created to help Canadian citizens to
suffer more.
To get loans on mortgages at the lowest rate possible. So when it was first created, we as Canadians were to be allowed to borrow from Bank of Canada at the lowest. It was like nothing at all, nickels and dimes when it came to the interest rate. But what happened is the parties that got elected, and the last one was Paul Martin. What happened what they would do is, let's say if they had a project, let's say they're going to be building a bridge, okay, and it's going to be a federal thing, so the federal government has to pay for it. Previously, the federal government would borrow money from the Bank of Canada, but then they started all shifting over and borrowing from them. Why are you borrowing from a private bank? Why are you paying such a high interest rate? Why are you not borrowing from the bank that the country owns? What's going on here? So initially it was, just for small projects, and the reason was, we want to help the Canadian banks flourish, right? Okay, but now they're like some of these banks like TD, RBC, they're around the world. They're not just in Canada anymore. They're gigantic. But today, any kind of funding that our government wants, they borrow from private banks. Did you guys know that? They're not borrowing from the Bank of Canada. And the Bank of Canada right now, Chris, can you look this up? What is the debt amount that the Bank of Canada's in? The Bank of Canada owes like a couple of billion. How is that possible? It's so stupid. So in the past, with
1.1 trillion.
Whoa.
It's all of that. Do you guys know what the gold standard is? You guys heard of that term? Anyone?
I've heard of that term.
So what used to happen before is banks would have to have whatever amount of money they had to have an equal amount in gold. Because that's why the money had value.
Yes, I remember.
Right? So if I'm a bank, and so if you came to me to borrow money, I can only give you out a piece of paper saying, here's $10,000 if I have $10,000 of gold in the bank. That was the gold standard, right? So by the time Paul Martin, I believe it's Paul Martin, when he came into power, at that time was only that the bank had to hold 20%, I believe. And then after that, it was zero. So now all banks, they really have no cash. All they have is debt. It's all paper. So you come to me to borrow money, all I'm doing is just giving you a paper. Let's say if you want to buy a car, here's a piece of paper, go give it to her. And she gets a car, just a piece of paper. So banks' worth is just based on how much debt, how much money is owed to them.
Right.
It's just a stupid system. This whole thing of
do you
interest.
think like they just want the people to just live on like, you know, in debt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So when
They
So
make
like
money
they are
off
more
your
dependent
debt.
on the banks, and then the banks can
Yeah,
flourish.
they're making money off your debt.
Of course.
there was there's an article that I had read when the Bank of Canada was freaking out and raising all the interest rates, and saying that people are spending too much. First of all, what kind of an economy do we live in that if people are spending money that's a problem? If things are flourishing, that's a good sign.
Exactly.
No, that to slow that down.
Yeah.
So there's an article that I read, I believe it was the COO of RBC, and he had said that Canadians, individuals, as well as Canadian businesses, have over $50 billion in total in their savings. And that needs to be spent. And so the next 2 years of us going through a tough time, everyone's going to survive. That money's all going to be spent, and then we'll get back on track again. That's how the economy works. If we're doing very well, people are buying houses and cars and shopping and so on and so forth. I was like, wait a minute here. Everyone's got too much money. They want you to be borrowing money.
Mm-hmm.
So what he meant was that $50 million will be spent. Now everyone's going to get back onto that treadmill of having to borrow money from a bank and paying payments again. That's all they wanted. And they went overboard. That's why they're now quickly reducing the number, because they realized they went too far with it. But most people that I talked to, a lot of people who had a ton of savings, that they're self-employed, they burned through it.
Well, and then COVID.
Yeah, COVID as
Yeah.
well too.
Yeah.
So our government, they don't really want individuals to prosper.
No.
The banks want you to be on the hook.
Mm-hmm.
The same way that Big Pharma, like, do you guys know, Chris, can you look this up on how old did Pfizer just turn? You guys know Pfizer,
Oh
right?
yes.
I think it's 100, they just turned 160.
Something like that, yeah.
Do you know they haven't found one cure?
Oh, wow.
Viagra.
Well,
That's not a cure.
That wouldn't
It's a
make
cure
their
for some
money.
women in the middle of the night.
No,
100, how long?
they treat
75 years old.
No, that's impossible.
they treat symptoms. They don't cure things.
I know.
Yeah.
But that's their job. But you'd think that they're a pharmaceutical company, they're going to find cures. No. They will just give you, if you've got a certain ailment, they'll give you enough medication just to keep you alive.
Yes.
And you're hooked on the medication for life.
While it's creating another problem slowly
Possibly.
in your body that
Yeah.
you need to go back to them and get fixed later.
Yeah.
175.
175. There you go.
Wow.
175.
Yeah.
And in 175 years, you couldn't find one cure. What the fuck are you doing?
And
in those
imagine for the
what are you doing in those labs?
No.
What
They're
are they?
researching how to make you feel better, not fix it.
But meanwhile,
No, how to make you feel better, keep you sick.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if you know Frederick Banting. He was a Canadian. He lived in Alliston, Ontario.
Yeah.
He created insulin in his garage because he was sick of companies like Pfizer making a buck. So what he did was he decided, I'm gonna fucking patent it before they do. So he made it in his garage with him and another guy. They patent it before Pfizer or any big company could get their name on it. And they sold it for $1 a vial out of their garage.
Yeah.
So that everybody with diabetes could survive. And what are the states? The same vial that we give for free health care is almost like $400 or $500 in the states.
Oh no, it's something like 700 or 800.
Oh, see,
It's
it increases drastically,
Mm-hmm.
and the price of the vial stays the same to cost and make, but the price for it to buy keeps raising, and people are losing limbs, people are losing their eyesight, people are dying.
But no one
from it.
cares.
But no one cares. No, 100%.
They keep us so busy and preoccupied with other shit.
But it kills me that a company that has all the resources and tools that they've had for 175 years hasn't had one cure and two guys in their garage. Did it? For at least they cured a major ailment.
Treatment till there's no treatment for diabetes. I have no idea. Like what are they doing?
Yeah, that's a very good point you bring up. So I was the publisher for a national magazine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had done an article on cancer and all of these organizations that raise money for them, right? You have the Breast Cancer Society. You've got Scotiabank that does a run for this. And there's so many of them, even Terry Fox, right? So what I did was, I had a really valid question. I was like, okay, in Canada, we've got like 15 different bodies that are trying to find a cure, right? Breast Cancer Society of Canada, this Cancer Society, the Terry Fox. There's a whole bunch of them. They're all raising money all the time. Scotiabank for Run, you sponsor someone and they raise money. They raise millions and millions and millions every week, all of these organizations combined. So I spoke to one of the heads, I believe it was for the Breast Cancer Society. And I asked them, So let me understand this. You guys in your lab are doing all kinds of tests, right? And you're trying to figure out if there is a possible cure. So you're going through, let's say you're going to say, we're going to try this avenue. Once we've done that, it didn't work. We're going to try this, and you're going to continue, right? She said, yes. I said, okay. I said, do you share that data with the other organizations? And she said, no. I said, pardon me. So you just spent, let's say, $5 million and 3 years down this one path to think you might find the cure, and that came out as a failure. You're not going to give a heads up to all these other organizations. You want them to go through all the same shit and spend all that money, go through all that trial and error to come to the same conclusion as you and waste 3 years of their time. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Is that insane?
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? Why would you not share the data? If the end goal is to find a cure, why would you not? Like, if all 5 of us had an organization going and we had scientists and doctors and all these people working in the lab to try to find a cure, and I said, okay, you know what? You're going to try to see if this one over here, page 1, do all the tests on page 1. You do page 2. I'm going to want everyone to share the results. No, page 1, whatever I did didn't work out, but I'm not going to tell you. You go do. Is that stupid? That's so stupid.
Well, we can't even, like, our own healthcare system can't do that, right? We can't go to a hospital in Burlington and then a hospital in Milton and they know, oh, you were just there and this was the problem and this is what they did. We can't even do that.
Yeah, I know.
Like, how ridiculous is that?
We don't do that? I thought we did.
They have to ask for it, I
we
think.
did.
I think they have to ask for it.
Actually,
no,
they have to request it.
No, as soon as they scan your health card now, they know exactly where
Yeah.
you've been because of
Yeah, they know.
when doctor shopping.
Really?
Oh, 100%. That's why they scan your health card right away.
And people are tracking, like,
Oh, yeah.
treatments and
Okay.
everything.
Oh, yeah, because if you go to a hospital and you claim, like, oh, I fell, I told
Oh,
my
I get
ankle,
it. You want to
and-
get more pills and
And
stuff.
somebody was like, a doctor gives you narcotics, right? And you go to
Makes-
to Georgetown,
you're
and
right.
they
Makes
scan. They
sense.
say, okay, we already see that you were checked in at Brampton. You already have this treated. I can't, as a doctor, prescribe you more when I already know that you were prescribed something. And then that person gets red flagged, and then that way, if they go to continuous doctors, it can be seen as an issue.
So if you drove to Pickering, for example, because I know this doesn't happen in the Durham region, so I don't know if they're all connected, right? I mean,
Yeah, as soon as it's scanned, Ontario Health Card, the OHIP system is all the same.
it's all connected.
It's all
It makes sense, though.
It's
because
probably more common in our areas. Like Pickering is a nicer area. Like our area, like where we're from specifically.
Where are you from?
Brampton.
Want to make that clear.
It's like the ghetto Hamptons, Brampton. Okay, so
Ghetto Hamptons.
Okay. but that's like it's very very common. Like you will see people. You'll see the same cars at Peel Memorial jumping over to Civic, jumping over to Georgetown, and then they'll go all the way up to Orangeville. People, they doctor
That makes
shop.
sense
They
because
doctor shop.
they get prescriptions over
Yeah.
and over again.
Yeah.
Right, and they sell the drugs after.
Well, that's good to hear that we have it all connected because
It does prevent. That's one of the things with our health card system. That's why they were urging everybody to kind of push over from the red and white cards. They couldn't force us, but they.
But
were
maybe what Michelle might be saying is that maybe what you're saying, they might know about prescriptions that might have been written, but maybe they don't know about your entire file.
right,
No, like when I
holistic treatment.
exactly.
when
Oh,
I
they won't know that.
Yeah.
No, they
And they won't care.
well any doctor
They call that witchcraft.
when I got holistic, yes,
They
but when I
consider
got
that witchcraft.
when I had like my tonsils taken out, every doctor I've seen in any hospital prior or like after, they've known right away.
Yeah.
They've known,
Okay.
right? So like I guess treatment wise, prescription wise, but like I guess holistic wise, no.
no.
So you guys know that, and Chris, you can look this up. YouTube started this about 2 years ago. That they have started to ban videos that talk about home remedies. Like you'll see some videos say, hey, if you've got cancer, or this is really good, like blueberries and blackberries and all that, blah blah. They're banning them.
They
I
should
can see
first
why,
ban Google.
No, say YouTube is but why do you think they're doing this?
Because it's irresponsible sometimes.
No,
Too
it's
many
because
times.
they're getting paid so much by
Yes.
big pharma who advertise.
That's a possibility. I don't know.
It's a
But-
mix of everything. It's that too, because I could also see people like big pharma. Like I learned, if you have a migraine, put your feet in warm water, and that shit actually works. It'll go away almost instantly. But you don't need Advil, you don't need Tylenol. I'm not spending any money nowhere.
Yeah, there you go. See? YouTube's not allowed content to pose a risk. And what do they mean by that? What kind of a risk? If someone's telling you blueberries, what's the risk of eating
The
blueberries?
person may then depend on the blueberries and not go get some professional help.
And the professional help, they're going to give you medication that you're going to be hooked on for life. Right?
Not necessarily.
They can teach
Not
you.
necessarily.
Watch how to make a bomb. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I'm sorry, because I worked.
Oh,
in
I
neonatal.
get your point. So I agree with you in that way if you're involving little kids. But what I'm talking about is, you know, there's so many ailments that we have, and the cures are all, there's so many natural cures for them, home remedies, like
Before we had
whether it's like coconut oil, whatever it may be, that will actually just, not only will it, you know, alleviate the pain you're going through, will cure you of the problem.
But if you need antibiotics, you need antibiotics.
Which I do agree, but you do realize that we get prescribed antibiotics so much that now there's some children that are resilient to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
And
funny about
for every, like, I really get like upset. For every damn thing, they have Tylenol. Go have Tylenol, Advil. Like, why the fever is coming? They don't want to know the reason behind the fever, like, or whatever the problem is. They just want to, like, you know, keep us on
That's
Tylenol, Advil. Tylenol, Advil. I mean, a 3-year-old, my daughter was having a high viral fever.
Yeah.
And they just said, like, you know, just keep giving her, just try mixing the two and keep giving
So you're saying that they should be more like trying to figure out what it is that she has?
Like,
And I like, here's the thing, I kind of agree with her because in the midst of doing that and figuring it out, your child is also having a chance to fight that disorder or that issue off by itself. Like, that's what my mom did when I got sick. She would take me if I was like almost dead. If I wasn't dead and I was throwing up, she would let my body fight it because she didn't want me to depend on antibiotics my whole life. My cousins growing up, where every little sneeze and sniffle, my aunt was taking them to the hospital or the walking clinic.
Take this.
Oh my God, they're on Benadryl.
What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, there's extremes on both sides. I think you have to be a little bit reasonable, use a little bit of logic, and it's hard to explain, but I know you. I think I do respect the healthcare and the physicians.
No, of course. Like, you know, if you want to get the, like, you know, instant treatment, or you want to be like, you know, moving, then you definitely have to be dependent on the antibiotics.
But see, I think that when a child's got a fever, right?
And parents cannot see them suffering.
No, it's not even just that. If a child gets a fever like 100, 250, they can get brain damage. So if you do give them Tylenol, it's going to break their fever, right? And whereas, you know,
why couldn't you just put them in a cold bath and cool down? That's what my mom used to do with me.
but that might not always work.
But like, why is the first step pills? Try something like
I
that.
get what your point. Again, back to what Michelle was saying earlier. We live in an era we want everything instantaneous.
Right. Yeah.
That's why you've got so much over-the-counter medicine available, right? You can buy shit for everything.
You can buy happiness.
And we have a shortage of doctors in this country.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, 'cause
you know, they're doing their best. I think, you know,
No,
we can't get
with
into
all due
them.
respect to the doctors and everything, but this is alarming in a sense that, you know, for every illness there cannot be just one cure. There cannot be just Tylenol or Advil. You know, there is a lot of things going behind what is happening.
No, but I feel that the Advil and the Tylenol is not there for a cure.
No.
It has to do with them
Bring the fever down.
breaking the fever and to
Yeah.
give them a little bit of relief of the pain that they're going, the discomfort that they can sleep, and then their body will fight it off on its own after. So it's almost like an assistant. But I do agree if we start saying, you know, about antibiotics, I do believe that those are prescribed just like that to kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And a lot of children, you know, they call it a superbug, where no antibiotic can help them anymore because they've been prescribed it so often that it doesn't have an effect.
When we were kids, I don't know, Lola, you actually might be able to remember this. There was like this cough syrup that they used to give kids that they thought were faking sick, and it was banana flavored, okay? They brought him back to the doctor. The doctor was like, okay, then we'll take them on antibiotic, right? But they used to have like a banana syrup that they used to give us as kids in Peel region, and I'm not kidding you. And kids were like, they would chug this stuff because it tasted like juice. There's multiples of us in our 30s that still talk about it to this day. It's a phenomenon.
Yeah, I find that the bigger problem really is that we don't really have good healthcare anymore. Like you were saying, a lot of the doctors, they're not staying here. They're going to the U.S. They make way more money down there.
Yes.
Way more. And The infrastructure is just falling apart. The only reason that we have decent hospitals are being built are through donations.
Well,
That's all it is. You know?
my when I was with my ex, his father had a heart attack in Cuba, and Cuba is a communist country, right? And when they were down there, they realized that the healthcare standard was 100% better than what we have here. So they decided to keep him down there. While he was down there, not only did the hotel accommodate him, they paid for the family's extended stay at the hotel so that they could stay with the father.
He's from Cuba?
No,
So
he's from
he had
no,
medical
never,
insurance?
nothing. I don't know about that. I don't know about that extent. I can't say. But the doctors there explained to them that the care there for them, they make just about the same as like janitors. So they're doctors because they want to see people live. They care about the well-being. It doesn't matter their pay, right? So like it's not that I agree with communist countries, but the concept of that is beautiful in its sense that you're gonna make the same as the guy shoveling shit because you want to help somebody. It's not about making six figures and driving and being flashy, right? Like I think that's beautiful.
You know, doctors, I'm not saying all, but a lot of them just basically work for big pharma. That's just the reality. They pay their bills for them.
Yeah,
You know, so they you know they're pill pushers. They're gonna push certain things, even though they know there's no cure in there. But you ever watch like late night TV? There's like every like fucking two commercial. There's some new. Do you have this or do you have that? You know, does your leg move when you walk? Yeah.
Are you tired when you wake up?
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, yeah, I am tired. Well, you need this, but this might cause this, and diarrhea. Like it's always like, it's like, what the fuck, man? And it has so, like the U.S. to me is literally like an incubator of just a bunch of like guinea pigs. Like they feed their people the worst food possible. Like obesity in the U.S. is the worst in the entire world. And then they have all kinds of ailments, and they're all hooked on all kinds of medication, all of them. And they're just like lab rats. That's what they do. And we're becoming that too. We're not too far off. Right? Canada is really not too far off. Our quality of living has dropped so much.
Yes.
Like the way it was in the 80s and 90s, even the early 2000s. Now, everywhere you go, the infrastructure is falling apart. The roads are all destroyed. The highways are a fucking nightmare.
Oh my god.
I don't care what highway you go on. There's construction going on for decades. Like it's like, what's going on? We're like Montreal now. Has anyone here been to Montreal?
Yes.
Have you guys seen the construction there?
Oh yeah.
It's been going on since Montreal was made. It's just ridiculous. And Toronto's becoming the same way.
Don Valley has been like that since I don't know when.
And the 401. And it's like, who's winning these tenders? Who's getting these
and
contracts?
the gardeners, the bridges are unbelievable.
I've
They're still
never
falling
seen
apart.
Yeah.
I got stuck under one of those bridges last week. And
Did
I
you?
was afraid. Yeah. I was going to a concert, Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah, it's all falling. It's all rusted, corroded.
Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I want to sit here.
It's complete. And then you go to elementary schools. Most of them, they're like completely run down. Carpets are all stained. The paint's peeling off the lockers. There's all kinds of shit. And like it's like, look at how much tax money you collect from the people. When you pay property tax, a portion of that goes to education, right? Then you look at the hospitals. They're always like underfunded. We don't have enough beds. Why don't you? Like you collect so much tax money, you know, and where is it all going? But then you look at something like or you look at the police force. There's no problem there. There's just you look at fire. They've got so many people employed.
But even government entities like for example, like the OCS that we deal with, like the Ontario Cannabis Store, for example, they do the exact same thing. They got, I think it was, what did they report? I think it was like 3 million or 11 million. I can't remember. Some odd $1 million in profit last year with the promise to put it back into things like rehabs, educational facilities, to understand certain parents have never smoked pot, so they don't know how to talk to their parents about pot. So programs like that, right? Letting people educate themselves on the full methodology of it. Do you think anybody has seen a single cent? No. There's still a 3 to 5 year waiting list for anybody that wants publicized rehab. But yet you guys just got how many millions of dollars? There's no reason that should be a 3 to 5 year list. That should be like a 1 to 3 year list with the amount of profit that you've been making since you guys have legalized and gone out of prohibition since 2021. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the problem. So again, we keep electing these new parties, hoping for a miracle, and all of these ministries are like just barely getting by. They all pass with like an F, they'll fail, all of them. And then you have, you know, the governments, what they make sure of now is that we are all so preoccupied with useless shit. Social media.
Oh, yes.
People are on their phones, preoccupied with stuff that doesn't even matter. It's like all irrelevant mumbo jumbo garbage. If
Everybody
you know,
is a motivator. Everybody is.
No, honestly, and like
That's hilarious.
Everybody's an influencer.
yeah.
I watched this video. There's a huge influencer on YouTube. He's known for like doing like videos where he eats a lot of food, and he's a really heavy set guy. Weighs probably about 300, 400 pounds, right?
He's not gonna live long.
No, but this is what he did, Cam, to prove a point about social media. He went and he pre-recorded 2 years worth of videos. So for the last 2 years, what has he been doing? He lost everything. So he came and he's been releasing videos he'd release a video and you'd think he came out with it the day before, but he pre-recorded 2 years worth of videos. And then I think it was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, he had like this big mask on. He came on YouTube Live, whatever. He ripped it off. He's the size of me now.
Wow.
Everyone was like, holy shit. But it just goes to show you that that's what he's been doing for 2 years and not a single person knew. He manipulated the narrative. He manipulated the situation. People just believed what they saw. And no one did their fact checking. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
The internet is just there to preoccupy you because most of the stuff that you're watching on there is just stupid. It's distraction is what it is. Yeah. And if you look at, I don't know who really watches, cable TV anymore, but if you stream stuff, most of the reality shows are just there to make you stupid.
Yeah.
You're not learning anything from any one of them.
Oh yeah.
Like, what are you learning from, these ones about people? Oh, someone's gonna buy like a house on Malibu Beach. Okay, what did you learn from that? Who gives a shit? Or the Kardashians. What are you learning from that?
Oh,
Love on the Spectrum is the only reality.
Or Love Island or any of this shit.
No, Love's on the Spectrum. These people, because they're on the spectrum, Kim. You can't tell them to go back and try to say that line again.
I get that.
It's the best reality.
But I'm saying, if you look at Duck Dynasty, you guys remember that one?
Yeah.
Or what's that one with Honey Boo Boo?
Yeah.
I think it was called Honey Boo Boo.
Is it called Honey Boo Boo with Mama something? Who they call the human thumb because she has her neck is like she has no neck. And that girl, Honey Boo Boo, would eat this huge jar of mayonnaise with a spoon.
Oh, bang.
Like, who's watching this shit? So you watch this stuff, it just makes you stupid. Yeah,
that's like crazy.
So people watch this stuff and they just keep you dumb.
Exactly.
There really isn't anything there about teaching you stuff or making you think, right?
I just want
So the second goes, I can't wait for my date. Yeah, he just had his tongue down some other girl, and now you're looking for your opportunity.
Maybe she likes that.
And the next one, and the next
They
represent.
Maybe she's like, can I go second today?
Yeah. Oh god.
But it's not even just second, Cheyanne. It's like it'll be like 6 girls in one day he's gonna date, and he's making out with them, and some of them he's having sex with. So you may have sex with the third one, and then number 4 is also. I can't wait for my turn. It's like bitch, did you make sure you took a shower before? What are you doing? And it's all like glamorous. And if he doesn't pick them, like they have tears. Like, really, you're in love with this guy? Like, but people watch it.
Actually,
That's the very sad part, that how they represent the youth of today.
Well, they basically
really sad.
They basically are letting people. That's okay, right?
Exactly.
But we
Right?
can all
They're
choose
exposed
to
to
watch
it.
it or not, right? That's the beauty of the world we live in, also. In that
Yeah.
I don't have to buy into.
You can choose.
You can do whatever you want. Like it's free will. You do whatever you want.
It is, but when you've got limited options,
Okay,
then
read,
you're
read
kind
a
of
book. I mean, you can sit in
good luck.
Go sit in
What?
front of a
If
fireplace.
you were to say that to the latest, you'd be like, "What is that?"
Yeah,
The latest
well,
generation, would be,
I mean-
buck.
No,
what kind of a word
there's
is
no,
that?
you cannot
What's a
say there's
buck?
limited. I don't know how old you are, but you
For-
remember pushing the box to change a channel on TV?
Yeah.
Did you guys
Oh,
have
yeah.
that kind of remote?
Not
it's
that
a-
we watch.
Oh, I even know the click, click,
Yeah.
click.
Exactly.
Don't say
No, no,
there's
no,
no
no.
options.
No, Michelle, I'm not talking about Gen X. I'm talking about the current generation.
Yeah.
So not
Gen
Gen
Zs.
Alpha. Is it Gen Z?
Yeah.
The Gen Z.
They are
and-
millennials.
no, they're not. Millennials are like 2000, a little bit before 2000.
1980.
Is that
It's 1980. I think it's like 1980.
Can you look that up quickly, Chris?
I think
The years for millennial and Gen Z.
I think it's like 80.
So one of them are like the dumbest. It's one of the two that's like really stupid. And the latest one, which is Alpha, which is from 2012 and on, are the most intelligent ever.
Yeah, they're smart
Thank
ones.
you.
They're the most. No, 2000. Your kids.
I mean,
your kids
80,
are.
86 born. Like
you
millennials.
said 2012.
No.
2012.
2012. 2012. If you're born 2012
Oh no.
and on, and after that, you are a part of Gen Alpha. So they're young kids. These kids, like 10 years old or 5 or 6.
Mhm.
They are the smartest generation. They're geniuses. They're going to rule the world.
Why?
Wow.
Because they're going to grow up with technology, with AI. So they're all going to become millionaires very, very quickly because they know, right? Because this is what they when they started their life is with a tablet. The generation after that is called Generation Beta, and they're going to be the dumbest because all of the life improvements that Gen Alpha is going to do, like driverless cars and all of this stuff, Beta is just going to sit on their ass all day and take advantage of that, right? So, okay, if you look over here, so yeah, you're a millennial,
Mhm.
okay, and then you got Gen Z. So Gen Z is the dumbest generation. Sad to say, like they're really stupid.
Oh.
It's not.
No, what I mean by dumb, I'm not saying dumb where like they don't know what 2 + 2 is.
They're like,
They're too caught up in social media, and they will jump on the bandwagon for any cause.
Distracted easily.
Like
put that back up again. Sorry, because this is this is a really, to your point. Okay, that's a big difference. In 1997, I mean, there wasn't even an iPhone. So to compare a 1997 to a 2012, in that is very different.
In 1997,
Or maybe we
They're-
just
they had an iPhone 4, I
just
think. Did they
had
not?
it.
No.
When did
Yeah.
97, I think. No, 97.
So 93 is when they had the internet. Okay?
Yes, so we just got the
So-
internet, right?
Can you check when was the first iPhone? It was iPhone 4.
It
that was
was
the first
in
one.
like 2000s.
Yeah, I feel so.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
you're talking.
Okay.
It's the
like
end
that
of the
generation-
night.
2007. Okay.
So that generation, to me, it should be split in half. Like post.
You mean the millennials?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But
No,
I'm just.
Gen Z. Post iPhone.
I get it. I
Oh,
get
you
what
know
you're
what? You do have a good point there because
Yeah.
post and pre-technology, something like that is a huge difference.
It is.
Well,
It's
that's
a
why
different
Gen X,
interface of
with
technology.
Gen X, we didn't have any of this stuff.
Right. It's clear.
You know, we had
But-
pagers and shit.
but-
Right? So
He's 97.
everybody thought they were so
Yes.
cool with
I had
the so tack. But everyone thought they were cool. They had codes and all that. Whatever.
Blueberries.
But
Black
millennials
Blackberry.
are the ones who like jumped onto Black Lives Matter. They're the ones who jumped on this whole transgender movement that's going on. So they're obviously jumping on a lot with the Palestinian movement, but they're confused. So wherever there's a lot of noise, they'll go there. Okay, we stand for you.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't understand why they're standing for it, but they do. So the one good thing that they did do is they supported the Palestinian movement. So I applaud them on that. But with the transgender stuff, they've opened up a Pandora's box. Like it is just insane on what they're supporting. Like if you ask a Gen Z, what's a woman? You know what? We're gonna go on break really soon, but one sec. I'm gonna ask all four of you, and I want each one of you to tell me. We'll start with you, Michelle. What is a woman? How do you define a woman?
I will say a woman is. It's a good question. So I think there's more than one component. There's physical, and then there's.
No, just a woman. I just want a definition in one sentence or two. What is a woman? You're a woman, right?
I'm a woman.
You sure?
Yeah.
So what are you? Define yourself.
That's okay. Well, so I have a certain DNA makeup, and
Okay.
I have certain, sexual reproductive parts to me.
Okay.
Um,
So what's the chromosome for a woman?
it's X.
Okay. XX.
So I have an X. I have
XX,
whatever.
right? Okay.
Mhm.
And yeah, so genetically, I'm a woman.
No,
That's
you're,
what I
you're a
would say.
woman, like overall,
Yeah.
not just genetically. Okay. Cheyanne, what's a woman?
A woman is somebody that has a bonus hole and tells time by the kitchen clock or by the kitchen stove. That's a woman to me.
So you know why she said bonus hole? You know what that means?
No, that's
So-
a Gen Z term, maybe.
No,
that's
it's a
what-
medical
that's,
term.
That's the new medical term.
Sorry.
So
vagina.
in the UK,
In the
UK, and I think also in Australia, and it's coming to Canada, so all of you are women, so you all have a vagina, right? We can use that word. No one's going to accuse you or anything. We're okay with that. So in the UK, what the nurses and the doctors are doing now, because transgender female, so if our producer Chris came in tomorrow saying he's a woman, he doesn't have a vagina. So they're saying it's very offensive to use the word vagina.
Mm.
So they've come up with the term bonus hole.
Oh.
So if you have a vagina, it's a bonus hole because Chris doesn't have a vagina. He only has one hole. But a woman, she has a bonus hole. So that's the one medical term they're using. And the second term is front hole. Those are so appealing. Like, it doesn't really sound so nice. Bonus hole. Did you know this, Michelle?
No.
Is that nice? Bonus hole. So get used to it. Every now and then I refer to women. I say, okay, all you people here who've got bonus holes.
That's
So-
what a woman to
Why
me
are they
is.
so ashamed to say like
Because
vagina?
it hurts them because they don't have one.
It's offensive.
Feelings.
It's offensive.
Feelings matter.
Feelings
Did
are
you know that?
facts.
Yeah.
My feelings matter to me.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, you've been privileged for a very long time.
How do you feel?
Because you have a
It's up
bonus
to you.
hole. I don't have one, so you guys should feel for me.
Doesn't sound very classy.
Exactly.
Like JJ.
No. Because again, for me, you have it, so I don't care if it sounds classy. I don't.
It's no longer breast milk either. It's just milk or people milk.
No.
Human milk. So yeah,
human
again,
milk, that's what it is.
human milk is a new term. And human milk.
I don't have a problem with that actually,
Oh
because
my
sometimes
God.
it could be cow milk, right?
I would
No,
I would
no,
because
no.
I don't have two
Okay.
boobs, and as a woman, if I got to grow boobs, I'd be so proud of milk coming out of that shit. I'd be like, "This is my milk boob." Like
Yeah,
I would be proud of that.
So,
Because okay.
Olga, we're talking about this is a term that's being used with women who are breastfeeding,
Right.
and they're telling them that the term we're going to use is human milk or chest milk.
Well, at my work, we used human milk fortifier for premature babies because the mother's milk didn't have all the nutrients. It wasn't mature enough for the preemies.
No problem, but
So
but
human
if,
milk. I'm
but
used to human
if it's
milk.
coming out of a breast,
Yeah.
it's breast milk.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry
we say
to
breast
put down the
milk.
term.
Yeah. Or pumped breast milk.
Exactly.
No, but again, it's still it's coming from a breast.
Yes.
So
I
I'm not
agree.
going to call it
I
chest milk,
Exactly.
and I'm not going to
Oh,
call it
chest
human
milk.
milk
Exactly.
because
I
again,
like human.
a person who doesn't have the capacity to give milk is getting offended by it.
Well, a cow
Yeah.
has a breast.
Yeah.
A dog has a breast, and
Yeah.
they have milk.
Yeah.
So a dog's breast milk is the same as my breast milk, I guess.
I understand that, but we're not calling it animal milk
Exactly.
called cow's milk. or goat's milk.
That's why they're saying they call it human, because we don't. For everything else, we label it by its what it is. It's a dog. That's dog's milk. That's goat's milk. So
I get your point.
So now-
but I'm sorry, when it comes to
I'm not saying I agree.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm saying.
I understand the logic behind it, but for the only individual that can give milk is a woman, and it comes from her breasts.
Exactly.
That's it.
So
That's,
if
I mean,
if
people
a
think I'm
man-
crazy for saying that.
Remember the movie with the Arnold Schwarzenegger and was it
Danny
dad?
DeVito? No.
Yeah, he had a baby. He got pregnant in it.
That's a
Remember
movie.
that?
That's a movie.
Because he changed his.
Was the
gender.
baby gonna come out of his ass? Like,
no, I remember that.
or he's gonna
There
throw
was
it
a
out.
movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
I get it,
Yeah,
but
there
that's
was.
not. We don't. A man doesn't. First of all, doesn't have the physical capacity to have a child. Like he doesn't have the uterus. He doesn't have the
That's
capacity.
fiction.
Like that movie you're talking about, the baby was in his stomach. So when you get pregnant, is your baby in your tummy? No. You're not.
It looks like it is, but it's not.
No,
But yeah.
it's not. It's in your uterus, right? You get pregnant. The baby. People think. Ignorant people think. Oh yeah, the baby grows in the stomach. No, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Food is being digested in the stomach. There's acid in there. What are you talking about? So a biological male, and even a male that's transitioned into becoming a female, as of today, cannot get pregnant. I'm sorry.
Can they breastfeed
No.
if they're on?
If they're taking estrogen, I don't think so. It's enough. I
They
don't
don't
know.
have breast tissue.
Hmm.
You
I
need
don't-
the breast tissue. Yeah, the milk sacs. inside
Maybe
the
they might
breast.
be able to do a bit, but not enough to meet the
They can
requirements.
simulate it. They can simulate it.
Yeah.
We've had same-sex parents, and they get the pump breast milk.
Yeah.
That's donor.
I mean, I don't know.
donor pump
If
breast
I'm a
milk.
baby, do I really want to be sucking on a hairy nipple? I mean, like, give me a break. If
That's
I'm,
not gender specific.
I'm just telling you that it is, though. I mean, the amount of hair men have in comparison to women, that's kind of gross for that poor child. Constantly spitting out hair. But I'm like, give me a. See, so okay, let's move. She's already said it. Olga, what's your definition of a woman?
Can breastfeed.
Okay.
Breast milk.
Yeah.
And is nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
softer somehow, more intuitive,
Mhm.
supportive. And more emotional.
Anything about creating life?
Yeah, well, with the breast milk, you're also creating life. Yeah.
Okay. And Neha, what's your definition of a woman?
I would say she's complete, like in herself, and she can do anything and everything. For like, it's not difficult for.
See, the beauty is that you see the different answers, and there's emotion coming in now. This is a
Right.
very emotional, touching. It's like a Hallmark card.
Yeah, I'm not against men.
No, never said that. I'm just showing the beauty of women.
Exactly.
I mean, a factual definition of what is a woman.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
So that's
Like, how would you tell someone if someone came to you, a 6-year-old boy, and said, how do you define a woman? What would you tell him? What's a woman? How does he know that person's a woman, that person's is not a woman?
maybe because of the physical difference. Yeah.
And what else?
And
The fact that they can reproduce
they
children.
they are they can become, they are gifted to become mothers, and they create another life.
Yeah. So if a person cannot create another life, is that a woman? How about yourself?
I mean,
There's
they
women
can.
who, right, we gotta be careful with that one.
No, but I'm saying that's if you get older. But I'm saying if
No, even there's women who can't have children.
Okay.
Have fertility
yeah.
problems.
I get. So what I meant by that is if they do not have the reproductive organs within their body, are they still considered a woman? I'm not talking about if they had it removed or they had some
Yeah,
problem
the-
where they were born,
the
they didn't
emotional
get
part.
created properly. I'm saying if there's a person that doesn't have reproductive organs, doesn't have breasts naturally, blah blah, are they still a woman? Like doesn't have a vagina. Let's be blunt.
Yeah, why I said no. Otherwise, yes, of course, there are women who don't have children, but
Yeah.
they have the capacity to.
So if someone doesn't have biologically does not have
Exactly.
a vagina
Yes.
or a bonus hole,
We cannot tell.
would you consider them to be a woman?
For me, no.
Olga?
I would just look at their DNA. Yeah.
Okay. Cheyanne?
No.
Yeah. Michelle?
Yeah, I'm going off the DNA.
So that would be
The chromosomes.
Yes.
Aren't there people who are born with both parts?
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you-
Hermaphrodites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's again, we're talking about the anomaly, right? The
Yeah.
small, overall, we're talking about,
Overall.
at least all of us can agree, right? That, what a woman is. Ironically, where we are today, and there's videos on this all over, where there's been people that have gone to professors, of biology at Ivy League schools, and asked them the same simple question I just asked all of you, and they couldn't answer the question. That goes very complicated.
They couldn't, or they're afraid to.
Yeah, if I was a professor with tenure, I wouldn't be screwing that shit up. I would just be nodding my head till I retire and taking my gold.
And like, oh no, that's really a confusing question. What do you mean? And the guy's like, what can you please define? And this person who was interviewing the professor, he went to that school, and that person was his professor before. Like, can you just give me the definition of what's a woman? It's like, no, it's not. It's very complicated. It's more what? What's so fucking complicated about it?
Unless you're Jordan Peterson.
Which I love. Sometimes, brutal honesty and the truth is the best, right? But so I'm happy that we all agreed on what, because it's not.
They're thinking like their perspective about women than actually telling about what woman actually is.
I think it's
most men have
I'd like to reverse it when you're done.
perspective.
I'd like to reverse the question when you're ready, when you're done.
So the thing is that the problem is that the question, when it's being answered, is being answered in a way to not offend people. So they want to hurt people. Fuck feelings. A fact is a fact. Like 2 + 2 is 4. Like, oh, someone's like the number 4. I'm gonna say no. It could be a 3. No, it's 4. Like, if you don't get it, the number 4 offends you. I'm not gonna change my answer for you. That's so stupid. Like, how does that make any sense? That's water that you're drinking. Oh no, it's not. You have to call it a clear liquid. No, it's water. And if you're offended by that, because, I don't know, someone in your village drowned, okay, great, I get it, but it's still water. It might hurt your feelings to hear the word water, but we're not going to change what we've been talking about for thousands of years and change science and biology because it hurts your feelings. It's just stupid. To me, it makes no sense.
I still want to be kind to the people that mentally feel like a woman. Biologically, yes, we defined it.
So are you, as a woman who obviously you support other women, and you support their rights, and you understand the struggles that women have gone through, right? Because there was a time when women couldn't even vote. There was a time that cattle was worth more than a woman, meaning men would come to town, impregnate them, and just leave, and they'd give a shit, and weren't held liable, right? So women had no rights. So women have fought for decades and decades and decades.
Fighting.
And now you want men to come in through the back door and take away your rights?
I have to say no to that.
But again, right? So women are compassionate. I love that. A real man will appreciate a woman that's compassionate and loving, because that's the best quality a woman has, right? She has this love and men are drawn to that. But it's a double-edged sword. You're utilizing that same love now, and you're giving it to men. When you first fought for all those rights, now you have men coming in through the back door and saying, I'm a woman. Like, okay, you can have my rights. So it's like, what? So you've got women who are incarcerated. Then you have a guy who comes along who's a rapist, and he's raped dozens of people. He's a male. And now at his trial, when he's going to be getting his sentence, he tells the judge, I'm a female. So the stupid judge puts him into a women's prison. And now all the women there are being raped.
That's not right.
But this is happening. But that's not my point. Saying you want to be kind to them, right?
So case by case.
No, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
You can't. No one is doing it case by case. I mentioned this before. If Chris came in next week with a wig on and a dress, you girls would be like telling him what's wrong. We'd be like, oh my God, we're so proud of you. Women would be giving him a hug. I'll teach you makeup techniques, and I can help you with plucking your eyebrows. I would tell them, are you fucking insane? And get out. What's wrong? You got a problem. Don't come back. But women are the cheerleaders
So what
behind all
about
this.
lesbians? What are they?
Oh.
What do you mean?
Are they women?
Of course they are. Biologically, they're 100% women. Why are they not?
Because why? Because they have a vagina.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what tells what a
That's
woman is.
if you want to get down to like the most basic, like caveman type of ways. Like, okay, you pull your pants down and pull my pants down. Okay. That to me, you got a vagina. It's a functioning vagina. You're a woman. If you have a penis and it's a functioning penis, and then you're able to get a woman pregnant, right? Not all men can. I get that, but you have in your DNA, you have certain organs that you have, right? That the other person. So a woman has ovaries and reproductive organs and blah, blah, blah. She has her menstrual cycle, but eventually as they get older, they don't. But there are certain things that you have by default. And there are certain things that a man has. He's got balls and he's got a penis, okay? Some have their balls chopped off. That's a separate thing. But I'm talking about they have that. So you're a man. So a woman who's a lesbian, she's still a woman.
I'd like to change my answer.
Okay.
Because I know I gave like a jokingly answer, but like, okay, I just kind of, it kind of hit when he said vagina. Okay, so certain industries, maybe even in IT, like electrical, even in the cannabis industry, certain components or certain things are considered or can be referred to as male or female, right? Connecting wise, right?
100% there.
Why? Because the male fits inside the female.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Right? Yeah. So that's what I want to change my answer to. A male is someone that can biologically
enter a female.
Yeah. Yeah, biologically.
And that's a really good point. I'm surprised.
So a male can enter someone else's butthole too.
No, she's talking the vagina.
Yeah,
it has to be a vagina.
That's it. But that,
vagina, not
Yes.
okay.
Or a bonus hole.
Or a bonus hole.
Good. Now, you know what the great thing is? Like, now that you mentioned this, I'm not going to be surprised if in the future people will get offended by those companies labeling that
male
as
and
that.
female.
Yeah. Oh my God! It's
Like
like cis male and cis female.
like in pipe fitting, they have that. In pipe fitting, there's a male and a female.
Electrical.
And watch people. Like, that's offensive. Like, fuck you. Like, really? Like, pipe fitting's offensive now? Like, it's insane. And if you were to look at the other side of this, so I just said how women are beautiful because they're so loving, right? You guys have so much empathy and so on, which is amazing. Because it's a ball of emotion, right? Because men don't have that. However, it's a double-edged sword, right? Whereas on the other side with men, if Cheyanne came in next week and said she's a man, and she got a buzz cut, and grew like a mustache or with like a Sharpie pen, and then she dressed like a man, and it's like, hey, Cam, what's up, man? Can I hang out with you? Like, get the fuck away from me. Like, men are not going to be giving her a high five and saying, hey, I'm going to teach you how to shave. And no, women do that shit. So you women, because you're so loving and you're so compassionate and you have feelings and you're nurturing, you are, in fact, taking back all of those decades that you worked so hard for. Now what's happening is you have men like me who've now decided that they're female going into competitions, like competitively in sports. So if I was to go into a cage with I'll beat the shit out of any girl. Like, that with no problem. If I'm a girl and I know I'm going to get the belt and I'm going to make 50 grand, I will pulverize her face. I don't care. Because you guys allowed me to be a woman, right? You guys are all cheering me on. Okay. And now you've got all of these young girls who had lifelong dreams of, let's say, being a swimmer or something. And they put 20 years of their life into it. And now they finally get on a let's say like a provincial level or a global level, national level. And they go and compete. And then you have someone like Leah Thomas, his name is William. He just took LIA, and he's saying he's a female. He has all his nuts and bolts, and you can see it in his bathing suit. And he was beating everybody.
Yeah, and this Paris Olympics you're talking about, the recent
this was before that. Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing in boxing as well too.
So that's why they are coming up with a solution that they have to, keep the transgender boxing separate and not include the.
But you see, I'm saying that we just had. Chris, quickly pull this up, and then we're going to do a quick little break. Miss Universe. You guys have to see this. You know who Miss Universe is?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen it?
Yeah. Beauty pageant.
Do you know who won this year?
I did see it.
Yeah,
I did see it.
Okay, let's put it up, Chris. Just a video if you have, or just a quick picture. Okay? When I saw this.
It was in the news.
You got to look at this here. Put down the latest winner.
2024.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this person's a transgender.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you women feel about that?
That's not fair, yeah.
And not only that, when I watched the video, the bio, they said that she is a military wife. So she's married to somebody in the U.S. military.
I wish I could drop a mic right now and just leave the room. Wow.
So there's a gentleman in the U.S. military who's married to her, so he must be gay. Because he's not having vaginal sex with her. Because she doesn't have a JJ.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck is going on? And then the other women who work so hard, who are like biological women, to be a part of this pageant. Like, they had to first win in their district. You've entered a contest. Then you got to win in your province. And you got to win in your country. And then you go on international level. And then you have some person come along to win. Just, you're not going to tell me that wasn't political? You think that woman was actually the most beautiful woman out of the group? How insulting is that to a biological woman? That a guy came along who no longer feels like a guy, became a girl, and kicked all your asses in beauty. Like, that's fucked up. I'm sorry. That to me is laughable.
That I agree.
Yeah.
But like, you know, of course there's like, you know, there should be another competition for them.
Forget the what I'm talking about right now is how.
Yes.
What is
that is unfair.
What is the message that's going out to women? That no matter how beautiful you may be, and your whole life you've been working on your beauty, and you work out, you eat well, this and that, and you went to all these competitions. Well, along comes a person who decided they were a man before, now they're a woman, and they're considered more beautiful than you in the entire universe. Fuck. Like, wake up, people. Come on. I have nothing against this individual. Bravo to you that you're a female.
No,
good for you.
unfair.
But now you're going to come along and tell me that this individual is more beautiful than all the biological women that were, like, they're born as a woman. They have the DNA of a woman. They have the real beauty of a woman. You're more beautiful? Fuck that. Like, you have a you can bleep that, Chris. And you're more beautiful than a woman who's, she's gentle and she's soft. Like, she's a woman. You as a former man, your DNA is different. Your lung capacity is different. So if I was to compete against biological women in any sport, I will beat them because my lungs are bigger. So I can take in more oxygen. And oxygen feeds what? Your muscles and blood. So I'm going to have better endurance than you will. I don't care how many estrogen pills you give me. My lungs are not going to shrink. So by chance, I have an advantage automatically. So it's a disadvantage to all these women. But who's cheering this on? You ladies are. So let's not end on that positive note. We'll take a quick break. Thank you. I actually listened to a whole radio show about this. So they went there because of the Indigenous people.
Right.
Right. It's supposed to be a protest for them. And the Toronto District School Board made everybody wear clothing in blue and said all of you students are colonizers. So to make them feel like what they've done against the Indigenous people. But then all of these kids started protesting and supporting Palestine. So you had all these parents freaking out, oh my God, why we don't give a shit about Palestine and they should have gotten our permission first. So let me get this straight. You're crying about them talking about a group of people being, like, genocides being committed on them, but you're perfectly fine with some fucking transvestite coming into your class and your child who's 5 and reading a bedtime story.
Yeah, like there's no outcome.
So there's no outcry for that. So in Canada, legally, you have to be 16 to have sex. That's the age of consent. Mm-hmm. You guys all know that, right? Mm-hmm. So that means that our government believes that a child who's 15, 14, 13 is not mature enough to decide on where he's going to put his penis or whatever, or the girl, right? They don't think they're mature. But at 12, that same boy is mature enough to chop his penis off. Mm-hmm. Where's the logic behind that? Even tattoo parlors, they have a universal message, not even a law. But universally, they won't give you a tattoo
18.
Unless you're over 18 or you have a consent.
I had to do that. But also, like, when you go to family law, like court, when you're getting separation, you cannot. Your kids don't have a legal voice until they're 16. Also, to say where they
they're gonna live,
where they want to live, where they want to live.
But they have a legal state to change their sex.
Yeah,
they don't even know how to use it yet, and they're just that's so.
And why is that? When you start, the beauty is that the truth will never lie. So if you peel the layers away, what you realize is
Justin Trudeau's gay.
That's a given.
Maybe that's what
that
he
rhymes.
said.
Oh, he is
for sure.
So this is I've heard this.
This is
2 kids, 3.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. That's his past.
That's a beard, but I'm just saying that he's. This is.
Or he became gay. It's one or the other.
His law. He's just. I don't know.
Because
what he's trying to do.
There isn't.
That's a shame.
If you think of a prime minister or a sitting prime minister or a sitting president, when has there ever been a first lady who's divorced her husband while he's a sitting prime minister? Never. Mm-hmm. Even Melania Trump didn't divorce Trump when she found out that he banged a porn star the day after she gave birth to
Stormy Daniels.
Yeah. And Sophie Trudeau left. She must have saw him doing something disgusting to give up all that privilege she had as being the first lady. There's no way that it was just, we just don't see eye to eye. No, she caught him bent over. Like, that's guaranteed.
I agree.
I do.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Now you know reasons to hate them.
What was that?
Now you know the reason to hate them.
The sad thing is that they have no right to be pushing.
No.
You know, what was I just saying when we did the
Sorry.
rhyme here? Justin Trudeau's gay.
Yeah.
What did I say before that? Anybody paying attention?
Yeah, but I
What?
forgot.
I forgot too.
Yeah, we were.
The parades. No.
Was it the parade?
You're talking about in school.
School.
They, like
Changing.
they're doctoring kids.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but the whole thing is.
Thank you.
So in regards to even with pride, I have a lot of friends of mine who are gay, and a lot of them hate this transgender movement. They're like, bro, all we wanted was rights, being gay, lesbian, and just be regarded as normal people. This whole shit's fucking out of hand.
Yeah.
This is about feelings. We're not. This is not about. This is our sexual attraction. Like I have a gay buddy of mine who's attracted to men. He wants to be with a man.
Feeding their mind.
Yeah,
Children.
they're messing up their head. So even on like Gay Pride Month, every school in Canada puts up a pride flag. Even all the Catholic schools.
They voted against it this year.
A lot of the schools still have
Well,
it.
Peel region.
Peel.
I know Halton. I don't know, but Peel
Halton
voted
has it.
against it.
I have a Catholic school by my house here in Oakville. I was like, there's a and I'm like, you're Catholic.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Like, don't you know about Sodom and Gomorrah? Like, is that just going to be ignored all of a sudden? Like, I don't understand. You cannot have it both.
Yeah.
And the Pope is messing things up. He's like, oh, one hand, he was against it. Now he's saying, no, they're all God's children.
Not even that. Like, at one point, like, and I'm not saying I agree with the Pope. The Pope was against any gay marriage. Now that's been revised. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be revised, but I'm just saying you can't change the rules. You can't change the rules.
Just because it's politically correct.
And like I have a weird feeling, and I'm gonna call this now, that Trudeau is gonna pull a Bruce Jenner. Something's gonna happen. He's gonna fuck up, getting drunk driving. Something's gonna fuck up. Then all of a sudden, he's gonna be like, "I'm transitioning." I just have a weird.
You know what?
feeling.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if
And
he
then
loses the
everyone-
election,
Everybody.
and then he becomes like this voice that people supporting him.
Yeah.
Just for the because he has an ego. This guy.
I just have
You know?
something.
I don't think anyone's gonna care.
Sean, are you Catholic?
Yeah.
I was raised Catholic. Yeah.
So the Catholic Church is against divorce, right? If you commit divorce, you're kicked out of the church.
Yes.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Really. My kids went to Catholic school, so you know I have to say, like we aren't religious. We're Irish Catholic, so I was born in Ireland, right? So
Yeah.
when we came, we left because
I love Irish people.
Yeah.
So you know.
we left. We lived in the north, but we were Catholic, and that's sorry. Yeah.
Are we
were Catholic.
recording right now?
No.
I am, but
Okay.
Oh.
So
I mean, like,
let's
we're
put-
not on air officially.
let's put our headsets on.
That's not
Go ahead and just continue.
Okay.
So you're saying you are Catholic, but
Yeah, so we were never like practicing Catholics, right?
Okay.
Like I said, this was a political thing. Why we immigrated to Canada because of the Catholic Protestant fights going on in the early
Oh, yeah, it
70s.
was really bad.
Okay, my dad had me. They were like, 1920s. Like we got to get out of here. But part of this thing when you talk about like the Toronto School Board, that's part of the reason why, as much as I wasn't religious, because religion is a business to me.
Yeah.
I felt like my kids would just be less exposed to a bunch of other crap shit going on in the public school system. At least I knew what was happening over here.
But the problem now with
That's
the Catholic
changed, it sounds
schools
like.
is they've jumped onto the bandwagon just by pressure. So there was a school hall meeting for Halton, right, with all the Catholic schools, and they were doing a vote in regards to the pride flag and whatever else, and the parents that were standing up for their religious beliefs were thrown out of the meeting. Like they're saying, whatever, you're bigot, it's like, what's the purpose of a private Catholic school?
There was a kid who went to school and said out loud, I think it was like at a school assembly, there's only two genders, male and female, and he was arrested on school property and he was dragged out of a Catholic school board.
So look, you know what? Michelle, you said you're from Ireland, right? Do you know what's happening in Ireland with the teachers?
No.
Have you not seen that? Please look it up. Chris, you want to put this up? Look up teachers in Ireland being arrested. The same thing that Jordan Peterson stood up for with these pronoun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers in Ireland are going to jail because they're standing up. They're getting arrested. There's videos everywhere of the police going to their home and arresting them. And the teachers like, I'm just teaching the students what's right. I'm like, no, you can't. and they're being thrown in jail.
I mean, you compare that to just 40 years ago, not even, where people were coming into, my dad's house in Belfast during dinner and, with machine guns and ready, looking for people. They didn't get arrested. They didn't go to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, the shit that went on, like, within this 30, 40 years. And this is happening?
Yeah. So it's messed up. So basically, because of an ideology, yeah, look.
There's hundreds of these.
Yeah. Disgrace on our country. Ireland, of all places. Like, it's gotten so messed up that if you have certain morals and values, that you can be canceled, go to jail, your career can be ruined, like you get death threats because of your morals and values. Like, this is so fucked up. Like, we're living in a very now. We might as well put the video in of the Moroccan place because it's related to this.
So do you think people are afraid? I mean, do you think everybody's just living in a fear-based society, and that's why they make, I mean, if I thought my kid was going to be taken away from me because of something I said, like I said, I would take my kid. I don't like being told what to do anyways. I would be taking my
Well,
kids.
you're in the wrong country then for that.
Yeah. I mean,
It's that whole thing, but if you can't beat them, join them, right? So it's kind of like most of the people who are standing up for this, they don't understand the long-term effect of it. So a lot of these the youth that are doing this whole gender reaffirmation, they are coming back now, 5-10 years later, and wanting to switch back, and they're taking it out on their the council, let's say the student council, the therapist at school, or the social worker, or their parents. Like, fuck, I was going through puberty. Like, you could have just hugged me and gave me some love, and I would have been fine. But instead, you bought into this bullshit idea that because my voice was squeaky and I'm a guy, that maybe I'm better off being a girl. And in society, I became popular all of a sudden. I had all these girls around me who were cheering me on. I was hanging out with the popular crowd because I became cool. But meanwhile, I just needed some love and some therapy. So a lot of them are coming back now. And that's a point that Jordan Peterson had made. He said, let's give it 20 years. Let's see how much of this comes back. And let's see, eventually over time, if there are going to be lawsuits and stuff taking place. So if you want to just play this video.
I came all the way to Morocco to find out how many genders are there.
I don't understand. Sure. Biologically.
Genders, you're talking about female and males?
Yeah, like how many are there?
Actually, I think it's 50-50 in Morocco.
19 million.
19 million, and for females, 19 million.
It's funny, like they don't even understand the question here because it sounds so ridiculous to them. So here they're just not as programmed, they stick to real life. And that's how it is. The more you leave those first world societies, it's just more normal. None of this extra bullshit.
All the way to Morocco. Imagine that, like, he's asking the person a question. How many? He's talking about he thinks it's about the population. Oh, there's more females than males. I think 50, maybe 50-50. They don't understand this whole concept. But we are so like enveloped in this bullshit that they're pumping this shit into our heads. And what they realize is, and this is the oldest marketing trick in the book with corporations. If you want to make money, one guaranteed way is you target children.
Yes.
That is it. Parents can't say no. Parents just can't say no. So if you look at a lot of the shoe manufacturers, you think they're making all their money because of the adults buying running shoes? No fucking way. It's the teens who want all these expensive running shoes. Yeah. They get them all at a young age. So this ideology is to make all of this norm, and it's all based on your feelings. I understand that there's real cases and I empathize with those people, but I don't agree with if you have like an 8-year-old kid or a 9-year-old kid or a 10-year-old kid, and you're gonna start giving them, medicine like testosterone or estrogen pills, just because they went in for a 15-minute session with a doctor. What the fuck? If I walked in to the Oakville Hospital and told the doctor, hey, I want you to chop off my left leg. I'm like, why? What's wrong? Do you have a problem? What's wrong with it? I just don't want it. He's not going to go, okay, great. Just sign over here, Mr. Zadian. We're going to chop off your leg. They're like, you got to fucking...
You can't even die if you want to on your own.
They have assisted suicide.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can.
Well, you have
Maids
to
allowed.
get approvals by the doctors and this and that.
No.
They've completely revamped it.
They've changed it all.
Yeah, if you completely revamped it, even now, you don't even have to have a terminal illness now in Canada. You only have to have a mental health disorder. You can suffer from long-term depression,
and that can and that's just self-diagnosed.
Yeah. So yeah.
They'll
refer you to a
cocktail.
They'll refer you to a maid service essentially. Yes, they do.
They have a cocktail
When did
being
that
done
change?
a couple of years ago.
2018, I believe we did a show on it. Yeah.
So now,
it's crazy.
So what happened is that they delayed it, but basically, if you are depressed and you no longer want to live, you have a very good chance you'll get assisted suicide.
Because my girlfriend's brother just did this last year, and he was everything. His limbs were gone, and he's like, "I want to die," and they're like, "No, we got to talk to doc." And this is in like either Oakville or Toronto. I think he's in Toronto.
They've changed that now. They've changed it very recently. It's called MAID.
Yeah,
right.
It was MAID.
Medically assisted, whatever.
Then they said yes this day, and they were all ready, and then they said no, we're gonna get another doctor opinion, and they came back.
So I think they have it where they have one or two doctors, but it's gotten now to the point where the direction they want to take it is want to basically make it very mainstream. So if you no longer want to live, no problem, just sign here, check the box. We have no liability. We'll kill you. There you go.
Yeah. I think that MAID came legal, but they still need doctors'
Approval, they do, but what I'm saying is the doctors, you're right, doctors had a certain protocol to follow, right? They had to go through this, the checklist was huge.
Right.
Now it's become very, very small. So before it was if you were terminally ill, right? You had chronic pain. But now they've expanded that on who can actually be eligible. So anybody can.
We spoke about it in one of our episodes previous. One of the girls that was here, her best friend's daughter, I actually know the girl as well. Her daughter got diagnosed with cancer, and then she went into remission. She got again, went into remission, and the daughter went up to the parents and said, "I can't do it anymore. If it comes back again, I want to go." And it came back again, and they just said she doesn't want to do it. She can't do it anymore. It's too hard on her. So they let her go.
So it's fucked up. I'm sorry. The government now, schools, for example, that's academic. You're supposed to be teaching people 2 + 2 is 4. And oxygen, H2O. You're not going to be teaching people what is the correct, politically correct opinion on things. That's completely messed up. With my religious belief, alcohol is not allowed. But alcohol actually is horrible. If you look at the stats, alcohol is the number 1 killer. Number 1. And they all know it. They know how bad alcohol, when you get drunk, do you know what that is?
Poisoning yourself.
Yeah, it's your body fighting off the poison that's in your system. That's why you get drunk. That's a clear sign that shit is horrible for you. But no, it's okay. So if I say that for my family, they're not going to drink, but then you have a teacher pushing her ideology that, no, a glass of wine for you a day is healthy. And there's nothing wrong with drinking. Fuck you and your stupid view. My belief is my belief.
Well, just the other day in the States, it was on the news. A school in the States did a Kamala Harris Day, and parents that were up in arms, they're like, okay, that's politics. You don't bring that. Is there a Donald Trump Day? No. They had the students doing a Kamala Harris parade. There was Trump supporter parents all up in arms with that school, but it was
that's so stupid.
But don't bring the politics. Don't bring the religion unless you're in a religious school to the plate.
All this is political, and unfortunately, when it comes to people's morals and values, money trumps all of it. Money buys them all. So that's why you don't have a lot of people, even countries, for example, Ireland stood up for Palestinians. South Africa stood up. There's a few countries that have, but the other ones are terrified. Why? Because they're going to get sanctioned. They're going to lose funding. So they stay quiet. So what they do now is economical warfare. So it's no longer dropping bombs. It's putting sanctions on countries to silence them.
It's almost making them want to drop into recessions and stuff like that.
Of course they do. They destroy the economy in that country and squeeze them, and then overthrow the leader and put some puppet guy in there to continue with their agenda. Chris, if we can play the next one, the single mom. This is a really fun video. I actually like this video a lot.
That's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud.
I've had several different women block me because I made this comment. If you're a mom and your child's father is actively a part of their life, you're not a single mom. You're a single woman. And a lot of people claim to be a single mom. No, honey. You have support. Your child's father is actively attempting to be a part of their life. Whether you're allowing it or not, that's on you. But you're a single woman.
Well, going back to what makes a woman. I'm a mom. I'm still a mom, right? And he can't be a mom. So I'm still a single mom. He's a single.
You're a mom, but is there a plural mom?
Well, I guess for me, I always said single parent, right?
No.
They weren't. Yeah.
No, so the point here is that if you, so let's say one example, you get a couple gets a divorce, right? The children go to the mother. The father is still involved because whatever visitation time he has, he does it. He pays child support as well too. He's involved in the decision making and all that. He's supported with the extra expenses, Section 7, whatever, paying for medical, this, that, blah, blah, blah. He is involved, right? So she's not a single parent for that child because that child also has the other parents involved. So how can you call yourself a single mom? You're a single woman. You're not a single mom. A single mom is someone who has a deadbeat, ex-husband.
Or is a widow, or the father isn't there, period.
I think that's context. I really do. I think most of the topics come to context anyways. And I think that she's saying, like, if you call her a single woman, you don't know that she has children. You're saying, like, I'm available, I'm single. That's different. I'm a single woman.
But I can play the other side of it, that a lot of women play that card of being a single mom for empathy. Or
right,
me, I'm a single mom.
I never liked that. Like, I never liked that connotation. I've been a single mom. I never liked to even say the words because, to your point, I always felt like it seemed like I was asking for pity or for help, or that poor me. Like, I never.
Yeah, but that's why women. That's the whole point here.
Single parent, because she's still. I'm not saying I'm a single. Like, I'm a single woman. I'm free. I have no boyfriend. I have no relate. That's what that. To me, that's the connotation behind that term.
No, but women use this term of that's single separate. Mom for empathy. And for pity,
well,
and the victim card.
Separate.
No.
Kind of. If someone says to me,
I agree. I felt that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, friends.
Or maybe they just want to be authoritative. They just want the authority, and they want to proudly call themselves as single, like, mom.
No, but you're not a single.
Okay,
mom.
no, I think that's kind of like, I'm gonna be honest here. I think that's like saying that you're. A single mom to me is somebody that's the one solely picking the child up to and from school, solely taking to dentist, doctor,
time, everything,
getting on the bus, getting groceries,
paying all their bills,
going to babysitting, making sure they're picked up from class, arranging for that because the father's parents aren't there, the father's not there. That's a single mother. And I get what you're saying, where it's a single woman kind of implies that you have no kids, but when I'm working as a customer service, I meet someone for the first time, and they're like, oh, I'm a single mom. Immediately, I think you're a single mother. You have no one helping you pay rent. You have no one helping you pay groceries.
Child support.
You have no child support coming your way. You're working on your own. You're dealing with your own babysitting.
And you've got your kids 24/7.
Correct. But when someone says, oh, no, I'm a single woman, I have kids, but I'm separated from my partner, I'm picturing, okay, pickups, drop-offs, coordinating, co-parenting. But when I hear
says what?
If I'm a single woman, but I have kids, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not with my partner, or I'm not dating my husband.
Yeah, I don't think even anybody say that.
Or I'm separated. I'm separated.
Because in society, this terminology of single mom,
but as somebody,
is kind of like, it's like a victim thing. Where
it does.
For me, I'm a single mom, and I'm struggling, and I'm, and oh my God, it's like, kudos to you.
This is where
You're
I'm
a single mom.
As someone that does customer service, I get that a lot more than I'd like. Can you let me go like a couple bucks? Like, it's like, I'm a single mom, and full well, the same person will come back in and be like, oh, my baby's father just came to pick up the baby. You're not a single mom. Why didn't you ask your baby dad for a couple bucks?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, I like when somebody tells me that, in like specifically a retail setting, I feel like they're looking for that extra kind of whatever, because that's the image that you're putting in. But I also understand where, as a single parent, you're sitting there, you are doing majority of the work, right? And then the father maybe picks up the kid every weekend. That still could feel like a single parent, because you're doing majority of the workload. And like we've talked about, it's never 50-50. It's never 50-50. One day it's 20 for a person, and one day it's 80 for a person. So there is kind of a misconstrued there, but I do kind of agree in the sense that A single mom that does it from A to Z, beginning to end, shouldn't get the same credit as somebody
So-
that has help.
But I kind of understand Michelle's side, but like using that
course you do.
100% single
Oh,
mom.
of course
yeah.
you do, because
Yeah.
you're very sweet.
No, this is what, like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like, I'm saying single mom versus single woman are they're two different things to me.
It is two different
Two
things,
different
but
things.
so listen, I know this wonderful woman, okay? She's from France. She's a beautiful person. She looks after her 2 kids by herself, okay?
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
The father is next to nothing, he's not even in the picture, and she looks after them, takes them to school, does every single thing by herself. She's a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
She looks after them financially as well too. The beauty about this video, and that the lady who was talking clearly said she got blocked by a lot of people, is because in society, it's automatically known, like it's almost like saying I'm a war veteran. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if one day we start having personalized plates. You have personalized plates in Canada with the poppy, because that person's a war veteran.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have plates like that for single moms. So if you're like, oh, okay, she's single, you can have my parking spot or whatever the fuck it is. You are not a single mom if the father of your children is involved in their lives. And if he's involved only on weekends because the court ordered it, well, you wanted that. You fought for that. You wanted the kids to be more with you. If you got separated, you went through family court. If you wanted equal time, you would have gotten equal time. But most women, they want the child majority of the time. And I'm not saying all women are vindictive, but having the kids majority of the time, you automatically get child support. Automatically. Whoever has the children more, they get child tax benefits. They get all the rebates or whatever, like dental, whatever the hell may be. So the woman, if you've got the children 24/7 and you have no support from their father, you are by definition a single mom. But if you're divorced and the father is still in the picture, he still contributes financially, he's still involved in the role making, he still spends time with the kids and so on, I'm sorry, you're not a single mom. You're not. You can call yourself a single woman, but I don't believe that you're a single mom. And that term, again, whenever you hear the term single mom, you think, oh my God, what a strong woman. that Ariel? Ariel's a redhead with like blue eyes and fair skin. So why is this being done? So the next thing that's going to start happening is that people of color will be played by white people. So Martin Luther King will be a white guy.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali, the boxer, will be a white guy.
But the thing,
Gandhi is going to be a white guy.
But little black girls are watching the fairy tales.
Okay.
So they just want to feel like they.
But
can
they
be
already
part of
have
it.
that for them. Like we were just talking, Moana and other ones as well. They already have princesses of color.
They're simply corrupting the mind.
Who's the other one? That
There's like
indigenous one?
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas.
There's also the Princess and the Frog. The
Yeah.
little, like,
Oh yeah.
So like they already have that.
Snow White.
Like I know that Ariel's white. So fucking just what are you confusing me for?
Yeah, make another story.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Or another character.
And I know that the fairy godmother is like a sweet looking grandmother. She's a sweet looking, maybe the type of grandmother.
Nightmares.
Yeah.
As a child.
That's gonna confuse the shit out of you as a child.
Nightmare.
Now when you see like a gay black man, you're gonna think he might be like a fairy godmother. What the fuck is going on?
Oh, that might not go too well in the streets.
Yeah.
You know, if you have kids going up to I'm not trying to be that person, but going up to black
There's
men.
a black guy.
Are you a fairy godmother?
Yeah.
Like that might, any man. It doesn't have to be black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter. You go up to any man, kids are going up to a man going, are you a fairy god? That could offend the wrong person really quickly.
Yes.
So it's messed up. And this is Hollywood. Hollywood pumps out this shit, right? Hollywood,
They're global.
well, they're paid. Like, you know, you have like, you know, the Pentagon. The Pentagon has you guys know that they have a Hollywood budget?
I could see it.
Yeah.
What?
To make sure that they push a certain narrative.
Oh.
So if you see in movies, right, like you'll have movies during the era of like Arnold Schwarzenegger, the bad guy usually was Middle Eastern. Okay?
Red Dawn was
Yeah.
Russian.
Now they're coming back to again being Russian again, right? So first they used to pick on, you know, black people. Then Muslims were the target, which they still kind of are. And now the new Muslim is the Russian, right? So Hollywood has an agenda. When there's wars taking place, they're going to put out these war movies to make them look like heroes, like Saving Private Ryan. Like a whole entire movie about saving one fucking guy. That's how fucking shallow you are. Millions of people died, and you're making a movie about one guy. Because his father and his father and they're all in the war, so we got to save Ryan. Like, okay, Greg, it's touching.
I'm glad I never watched that movie. That was the whole plot.
At its best.
Yeah,
That was the whole plot of the movie.
yeah. Yeah, so everyone was a part of his platoon. Their goal was you got to make sure that Ryan goes back home safe.
This movie won awards. I'm so
Yes.
confused.
Yeah.
It was a very realistic depiction of
Okay,
war.
because I'm not. Oh,
It was, but again, what I'm saying is the narrative, right? I mean, people, we have become so desensitized about what is tragic
Yeah.
and what's not. Like, when this stuff was taking place with Ukrainians, right? And there was actually reporters who were caught saying this. Chris, if you can look this up. So you have reporters from like ABC and a few of these other networks that were clearly saying that this really hits home because we're seeing children with blonde hair and blue eyes. And, you know, we're you know, we can't stand that this is happening to them. So it's like, what the fuck? So if they're brown and they're being blown to pieces, you don't give a fuck. But now because they're blonde, blue-eyed, it hits home. It's a child. Any child or any woman. What does it matter of their skin color? This really hits home for you? We don't give a fuck about that. You're a reporter. Talk facts, not your feelings. That's what's happening. Messed up. I'm sorry. So with Hollywood, with the way that Hollywood is, if there's money to be made, they're going to do it. Any which way. So if they can, you know, regurgitate the same movie over and over again, just put a different spin on it, they're going to do it. That's the way it is. So the Hollywood message became that they no longer want to show like a damsel in distress. You know, like Rapunzel and Snow White, that a prince comes and saves her.
Yeah.
So they don't want that. That's why in Frozen, no, they don't have that anymore. There's no prince coming to save anybody. The woman's independent. She saves herself.
It was Brave. Brave was the first one.
Yeah.
Scottish princess to ever be successful and not have a Disney princess.
Yeah. Like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with a woman being saved by a man?
It's all just fear. It's all based on fear. All of it.
You think it's fear?
Oh yeah,
I think it's toxic, feminism.
So it's fear of offending any socio personalities that are out there, and so that's what happens. It's like, okay, now we're gonna offend the feminists or the independent woman.
So why is it never now we're gonna offend men? Why the fuck does that never happen?
But don't you think that
because men are easily offended, I guess, unless you're gay or trans.
Men aren't, or they are?
Aren't.
So if they're not easily offended, then we shouldn't care about their feelings.
Not saying that, but they
that's
don't.
the reality.
But they won't. I mean, when's the last time they protested about their feelings?
No. So in order for there to be empathy for a certain group of people, they need to be showing feelings of hurt.
Well, that's usually what happens, right?
No.
It's like
it should be what's fair.
I'm not saying saying it's right, but I think that's what happens. Is it's like the squeaky wheel, and it's like whoever is complaining the most or causing the ruckus gets like.
So
when they played soccer,
shouldn't men be applauded for that?
Yeah, you guys didn't look like the underdog. Maybe that's why for a while.
Again, the thing is, women have been oppressed since ages. No, it's the fact.
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying any of that.
So in order to, uplift them in any way possible.
How long is that going to go on for?
I mean, till there are.
When they stop having to work.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk
Hold
about that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Stop having to work.
Well, okay.
Sorry, Chris, what do you want to say?
I was just going to say that's the culture now. If men complain, they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
So you can't.
Or they're weak.
Yeah.
Right? So if
it's not even that, but they're
how dare they, basically. They have no right to complain.
No, it's true.
Little bitch.
So you were just saying about when women don't have to work.
So my question is going back to all the other conversations too about the transgender and that, do you feel like a lot of this was created, or the single mom, single parent, from women working, from husband, wife working in the workforce, so she now is independent and she now this is why we're at 50% divorce rate, because when that started, that's when women went back to work. Before they were at home, they only had the milkman to choose from or the mailman, right? Now they're at work and they're around a whole bunch of other people. So now, evens out the game a little bit as far as who's gonna meet other people and who's gonna mess around. So this changes the whole family dynamic.
So you're saying that we're going to have to go back to the times when women weren't working?
Maybe it has to go back to, and I'm not saying that's feminism, right? Because
that's definitely not feminism.
That's definitely not feminism. But what I'm saying is that, maybe it's just everybody recognizing their roles.
But so what are the roles?
That's different for everyone.
It shouldn't be different. It should be universal.
Okay, but so if we go back to what a traditional woman's role was, she wasn't working.
Yeah.
So if that works out for a couple where he's doing that and she's not, that's okay. That works for them. I'm not going to dictate to everybody how they're.
No. It's not that. It's not about dictating. What I'm talking about is there should be, just based on common sense and people of thought, to be able to figure out which system worked the best, which also created the best offspring and the children now who are going to run society after.
You can't say that. It's called evolution. Like, you can't say that with the advent of all this technology.
You can though. The way that you can compare, if you look at the youth today, they got like fucking purple, green, yellow hair, 8,000 piercings. They identify as a tree, frog,
so did the hippies.
Cockroach. They didn't do any of that stuff. They weren't confused about who they were. They were about peace.
They were all sleeping with everybody.
Which is fine, but once again, that's great. So they weren't having sex.
They didn't care.
No, but this isn't, but they weren't confused about who they were. Like, they knew who they were. So the generation today, like, you go into these millennials, or who's the latest one? Gen Z. They're confused as fuck. Have you guys seen some of the videos on what they identify as? Oh my God.
It's like interracial, interspecies.
Not even that. They also have like genders that are seasonal. Okay?
What?
You know that?
Spill the tea on this one. I want to hear that.
Chris, just look that up. Seasonal, genders that change based on the season.
But so just because somebody has an opinion of who they are doesn't mean it changes like the construct of your entire
because
world.
because it's been forced down your throat that you must accept it. So it's no longer an opinion. They're trying to make that into a fact.
Yeah.
That's where the problem comes in, right? So in regards to, you were saying that women have had it rough, right? They've been oppressed.
Yes.
Okay. So today, do you believe that the world has never been safer and better for women than ever before?
I mean, I still can say that.
You still can say what?
Yes, that women are like not that safe and given the same kind of platform. Just don't look at those.
Where are you talking about though? Are you talking about in Canada?
Everywhere.
That's not true.
It is.
So I'd have to disagree with you.
No.
In what? So please tell me, where is it not equal?
Oh yeah, in
Tell me where.
corporate world.
Absolutely not. So
come on.
No, listen.
I won't agree to that.
You don't have to agree to me. You have to agree to facts. So in regards to this whole thing about wage, that's been debunked. Okay, women make more money than men. It's been broken down. It's been proven over and over. The only reason, and there's enough information, so to research on it, is that when they did the study, all they based it on was the annual income, and that was it. They didn't look into how many hours each individual was working. The men were working more hours, and the women were working
Men
less.
are still okay. I'm not talking.
Men
about
are not in the corporate world. This wage gap is a myth.
No, I'm not talking about the wages.
Okay.
I'm talking about like allocating the work. Like if you are a man, you will be given certain kind of project or.
Okay, so basically like laying brick, cleaning sewers, building oil
at certain
refineries.
position, yes.
No.
No. I think what she might be referring to, and I can actually kind of relate to this. When I was working in a warehouse position, I was hired as a warehouse secretary, because I was a female that could represent the males in the back when customers were picking up their orders, right? Yeah. But I could lift as much. I could drive a forklift just as better. I could load a truck quicker. I could unload a truck quicker. But when it was very scarcely was I given that opportunity, and then by fluke somebody called in for a week straight, and I got the chance to step up, and they were like, okay, she's running the position way better. They eventually let that person go. But it took me and that scarce opportunity to show them, because I can guarantee you if I didn't take that opportunity and I didn't have that opportunity, they probably would have called in another manager off of Indeed.
But do you understand why that happened? Because very few women are applying for those positions. So women argue the part about work, but the only positions they want are the ones that are going to be in a corporation at a senior level. How many women are fighting about there's not enough female bricklayers? How many women are fighting about there's not enough female garbage men that are out there? How many women are fighting about there's not enough women that are working out on the oil rigs and so on and so forth? How many women don't want to be involved in cleaning sewers? None. They're not fighting the fact that 98% of people who are bricklayers are male. I don't see any women saying, "Oh, that's unfair." They're only talking about the corporate world.
No, but I think what it is what she was saying is just like, I think when it comes to the projects themselves.
Not as much anymore. So even now, I understand that in some industries, you might see male dominance, but a lot of that is shifting. It's also because there's not enough females in that field to begin with.
Yes, that is what I meant.
But that's the women.
Still in the process.
Like in regards to nurses.
Yeah.
Is it mainly female?
It's mainly female, but I've seen a bit of a shift.
A bit, but there's mainly female. Because females want to be nurses.
Yeah.
If you go to any school, it's mainly female teachers. In elementary schools, it's mainly because that's what they want to be. They're not being forced into it. They choose these positions. Second thing, when it comes to wages, women are not aggressive. You're too nice. Men are aggressive. Every 2 months, I want a raise. I want a raise. Yeah. But men are.
Or they get scared.
Women are like, I want to rock the boat. They just want to cause problems. So they'll be making the same wage for years, right? Because they're scared, whatever. But a man, he's going to fight for it. So that's not that. You can't blame the man for that. That's the man. That's because you women don't want to fight for the wage. Don't complain. You're not going to be just. No company is going to come and say, we're giving you a raise on their own. No, you got to fight for it. You want to move up? You feel that you're an asset to the company? Go knock on the door. Let them know, hey, I want to move up. If not, I have 3 other offers. They'll give you the raise. But women don't want to rock the boat. That's not men's fault. The world today, Neha, just so you know, is the safest that it's ever been in the history of mankind for women. Women have never had it better. And the entire entire infrastructure that exists today is built by men. The mic you're talking into, the cell phone you use, the car you drive, the highway you drive, all of that is built by men. And 95% of it is maintained by men.
With good women.
Or they're single guys or single dads. But it's maintained by men. So they did a study and they said that if there was no men.
Because women were cooking for them back home.
Yeah.
They didn't have
It's
to
amazing.
think about.
Hey,
they
a
didn't
woman.
have to think about going back home, cleaning, cleaning laundry, do laundry and those
So
stuff.
let me ask you something. Who
No.
hold on. Who's the one who's been fighting for equality? Women. They want to be able to.
Because they are.
Hold
they
on.
are
Equality in regards to the workforce. They want to be getting equal pay. They want to have equal opportunities in their career and so on. Okay, so if you don't want to be a traditional woman, then don't complain.
Why?
Because you cannot be a woman who's out there and she has a career because she wanted a career, but then also complain that I'm not at home. I can't be at home. Well, you made the choice not to. You should have married a traditional man. If you married a high value man, that high value man will look after you because he makes really good money. He has morals and values, and he wants a traditional woman. He doesn't want a boss bitch who's gonna be like, I don't need a man. Fuck men. No man is attracted to that. A real man wants that toxic masculine side of a woman. If you don't need a man, have a nice day. I don't need you.
Oh, they always flirt with those kind of women.
But they
come home to the.
Thank you. So they may flirt, but they might bang those women, but they have no interest in ever marrying that woman. Because a real man doesn't want that woman. A man who's not a real man, who's a beta male, wants his woman working 50%, paying all the bills. A real man who's a high value man. We talked about this in previous podcasts. The percentage was 2% or something like that, right, Chris? Of men who make over what? 150, we said?
120, 2.6% in Canada.
Oh, men who make over 120,000, there's only 2.6% of them. Okay? Those are high value men. And if you go to 250 or 30, it gets even lower. Those men don't want an independent woman who's like, I make my own money. He doesn't give a shit about your money. For that man, you could be working at Starbucks. He's still going to marry you. You could work at McDonald's. He's not going to be like, oh, I want a woman who makes 120 grand. So if you're like, I'm independent, I don't need a man, that guy's not going to marry you. And then those women are like, oh my God, now they get past their youth and they wonder why they're single because all the good women got married. What are the good women? That man wants a traditional woman. He wants a woman to stay at home. He wants a woman to look after him.
I think, I agree with you, but in this, I don't know that 120 grand equals a high value man. I think there's a lot of other components that go with that.
That is, but one of them is his income.
Because that's not enough, in my opinion.
Okay, so even the percentage is even less.
But yeah, but like if there's more to it than that, but I do agree with what you're saying, and that a real man doesn't want the independent woman, or they can support.
But it's the problem of the man, not the woman.
What do you mean? What's
it's
the
like
problem?
they want a woman like that.
What like what?
Like a traditional woman
Yeah.
who cooks, who cleans, and
Yeah.
who does the home stuff.
Yeah, she's a homemaker.
So what's wrong in that? I don't.
There's nothing wrong. That's beautiful is what I'm saying. I'm saying that is the role of a woman. She wants to have a side hustle. She has a hobby. You want to do an online thing, or you want to run a bakery because it's for your fun thing. But it shouldn't be that is something you are depending on. Your man should take care of you. So if you, in society today, single women, if you talk to women, you can see videos everywhere. You'll ask them, oh, how much money does a guy have to make for you to even consider dating him? They'll say stupid shit like 600 grand. There's some dumb 22-year-old who can't even tie a shoelace, has a bus token in her pocket. And it's like, yeah, he's going to make at least 600 grand. It's like, you've got holes in your shirt. What are you talking about? Okay? But now when it comes to single women, these young women, okay, I'm not talking about women who are in their 40s and 50s, they're divorced. They're sensible now. They know what a good man is. I'm talking about younger women who might be 19, 20, 25, 26. You talk to them and you ask them, what do you want? I want the guy to be over 6 feet tall. He has to have a six-pack. He's got to make 300 grand, blah, blah, blah. And he's got to be successful. Okay, that's a high-value man. Now, that percentage, we just said, is going to be less than 1% of the men. But guess what? 80% of the women are after that 1%. That's fucked. So that those guys, they get called into the category of being fuckboys. Because they just sleep with these women because these women throw themselves at them because they hope to have a relationship with them. He's not going to marry you. You're a hoe. You go out to clubs and you're just there to get picked up. He's going to marry the traditional woman. He wants the woman that he can come home to, that she looks after his house. She turns his house into a home. She'll raise his children. That's what he wants. But these other women think, oh, just because they slept with one of them, that these high-value men are a perfect match for me. No, you're aiming too high. You need to aim lower. You're not a 10. You're not a high-value woman. Just because you make money, it is of no value to a high-value man. The men who care about that are beta men who are in the middle. So you have 80% of these women who are after these top, even if we say 10%. You know the rest of the average men? Those men are the ones who support Pornhub and OnlyFans. Because they have sex maybe once a year. And they're good guys. It could be a guy who's a manager at Home Depot. You know, it could be a guy who managed the gas station. It could be a sales guy, whatever, a car salesman. He might make, $40,000, $50,000 a year, but no woman wants him. And he's a good guy. He'll take care of you. He'll love you. He'll protect you. He'll provide for you. He'll break his back for you. But no, women don't want him. So those men are like, fuck it. I'm not dating anymore. They don't want to. So women have never had it better. Can everyone agree with that at least? That today women have a better standard of living than ever before. Today it's safer for women than it was ever before.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Neha
all
doesn't agree.
that's all relative, right?
Yes, it is
Where you
relative.
start, where you are now.
I'm talking about now. Just today, in comparison to everything else in the past, where women are today. Women have all sorts of support groups.
I'll tell you, both times in the IT business, in IT space, there is not. Like, I'm in corporate enterprise technology, right? There's not a lot of women in it, but the two times that I had issues were with female women, with
I'm
female
shocked.
bosses. I've always preferred to work for men, with men.
Yep.
I like
agree.
it that way. I'm an alpha female in that sense.
What were some of the issues, if you mind me asking?
Most of the women who have done that to me have been, they've been women, obviously.
Who try to push you down or
Yeah, they just want
push
to
their
pull me
authority?
down.
Yeah,
They want to pull
yeah.
me down because it's this bullshit competition. It's
Yeah.
like, this is such bullshit. Like,
Toxic.
get over yourself.
They know that you're a little bit
Yeah.
better at something, and instead of asking you, how do you do that?
Right.
They're like, I'm not going to let these guys know that she can do that.
Right.
It's
like sometimes
awful.
women, we're our own worst enemies.
Sometimes.
Yes,
A lot of times.
I would say almost all the time.
Right. So even though you talk about support and community, you're like, it's kind of like, is this for real or is she just, catfishing me or whatever the hell they call it now? I don't even know. But yeah, it's like, so.
Is she playing you?
Right. Exactly.
I don't mean by when I say these support groups, I'm talking about government funded groups.
Mm.
There's so many for women.
Oh,
Incredibly,
That I agree.
right?
That I agree.
Men, if you were women like your man to be emotional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want your man to be emotional?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like if your man shares stuff with you?
Yes, of
right?
course.
Volga, do you like that?
Not going overboard. Yeah.
Okay, so what do we mean by overboard?
Well, almost to the feminine side.
But why not?
Because
Women
it
can do
doesn't
it.
seem strong to me.
bitch.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with a man crying?
No, I mean crying a lot and sobbing all the time and cribbing. Mostly when it's like cribbing.
Chris, what do you want to say?
I was just gonna ask if anyone knows when men's mental health.
Oh,
every
Is
month.
there even a month for that?
Yeah, there is.
Really? I never even knew it. I never knew that.
June.
So they get no attention at all that month.
Yep.
So they make it on the busiest month because pride takes over. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's not even funny. That's actually really tragic.
That's
sad.
So I interviewed this professor at McGill University, and he was a male, and he was a huge advocate for men's mental health. And he had said that 9 out of 10 suicides in Canada are men.
Wow.
And I'm going to relate this to what we're talking about right now. Men don't have any support groups. So for a man, okay, and I don't care if you deny this. If you're denying it, you're lying, okay? So women cry. Women get emotional. right? If you have a tough time, you cry. It could be because your kids are driving you crazy. Heather at work is a bitch and she annoys you, whatever it may be, right? So sometimes with your man, you'll be sad and you're going to start crying, right? So all women have done that at one point or another, right? Correct?
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Often, sometimes, right? Weekly, you might have a meltdown, right? At least once during your menstrual cycle, there might be more opportunities there. You might get emotional, right? Okay. And that's allowed. It's okay. You're having a bad day, right? Now, let's turn the tables. Let's say your man, every Thursday, when he goes to work, there's like a board meeting, and, one of the guys there, and we'll name him Kevin, right? Kind of like Karen, but we'll call him Kevin. And he always picks on your man in front of everybody and embarrasses him as an asshole. And your man comes home every Thursday, oh my God, Kevin was so mean to me today. I really hate him. I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Now, if your man does that every week, are you going to still be attracted to him? Like, if he's crying all the time and complaining about work, and I don't want to go to work.
It's not about man or woman, I believe. In that case, whichever, part of, whoever you are, it doesn't have to be a man or a woman. It has to be you have to uplift them in a way, motivate them.
No, what I'm asking you is,
yeah,
if he did that on a regular basis.
Nobody likes that kind of a person.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
That women do it all the time.
No, and I
I'm sorry.
Because
women do it all the time.
Men like to fix our problems.
Men like to be serious. Women, it is one of their traits. That when a woman is emotional, she knows.
Oh.
She knows.
Women are labeled.
Labeled.
Oh yeah.
It's a fact.
They are labeled as if she's a complaint box. She always likes to crib. Oh my God, we get all the labels.
Labels.
It's not just the
men. No. Men are not complainers. That's what I'm telling you. I'm saying if the tables were turned.
You sure?
Last time I checked, I'm a man.
Complain a lot.
So.
Complain a lot.
No, I'm talking about complaining like a woman. I'm talking about
why
crying.
Are you comparing?
I'll tell you why I'm getting to this point here. What I'm trying to explain to you is that men are not allowed to emotionally vent. Men cannot vent emotionally. They got to suck it up and go to work the next day. There's none of this, oh my God, my coworker's mean to me. If a guy kept on saying to you, you're like, grow a pair of balls and stop complaining. What are you complaining about? Your coworker. But a woman can do that. Every week, I hate Jennifer. She's so mean to me whenever I go to work. She's so mean all the time. She talks to me in a rude way. And the guy will go, oh no, it's okay, sweetheart. And you complain every week about Jennifer. And he'll be understanding.
I'll complain to Chris, and then I'll expect him to hear me out and come for me. And 1 or 2 times he's come home and complained. Not whined, just said something oh, so-and-so's done this. I'm so deal with it. Don't be a little bitch. Something along those lines, suck it up, buttercup, you know what I'm kind of saying. But now when I'm thinking back to it, I'm kind of shit, maybe I'm seeing that I complain a lot, and then when he complains, I'm kind of just okay, I don't want to hear be a man, geeking.
Well, see, the thing here is that when women complain, and you're women, and you know this better than I do, you're just venting, right? Yes. You're not necessarily always looking for a solution. You want validation. You want that whatever I'm venting about, I have a right to vent, and you're gonna be on my side about it. So if woman's complaining about Jennifer at work, that woman does not want to hear that you're overreacting, because that guy's gonna get it. Am I right? So if you're having a bad day and Jennifer was really mean to you, you're like, I hate Jennifer and she's a bitch and she annoys it. And then your man goes, no, I think Jennifer sounds okay. You're the one who's the problem. He's dead.
Oh yeah, my husband did that. He told me, get over with it and just give her back. And then go, I have to, show up every day. I had a coworker like that who was actually harassing me. And I had to show up to the work because it's not the work that was the problem.
No, I know.
But I was keep cribbing about it at home. I was crying. I was
and your husband didn't care?
No, he did. And he just got irritated after a while.
So did you like that?
No, of course.
That's what we're talking
about. Same goes with my husband as well. When he just cribs and keeps on sobbing about it.
See, the men that I know, I don't know, nothing against your man or anything, but women complain because they want to be heard and they want to vent and they want validation. A man, if he complains to you, if you poke him and tell him what's wrong, if he's going to talk about his problem, it's going to piss him off even more because it's coming out now. It's going to irritate him more because he doesn't have a solution. So If your man is coming home a little bit stressed, he's quiet, leave him alone. Let him go think about shit, come up with his own solution, and because all he wants to do is fix the problem. He's not going to talk to you just because he wants to vent. Men don't. A real man will not do that. He's like, "Oh, my day today really sucked. I was stuck in traffic, and then this happened. You know, I went to the bank and I saw this, and my shoelace broke, and then this happened, and my nail broke." He's not going to tell you that shit. If he is, he's not a man. A man's like, "Oh, I just had a rough drive home. That's it. What's for dinner?" And he's going to move on. If he has a real problem, if he was driving home, the car was making all kinds of noise, he's going to be stressed. And you might think he's pissed off at me. No, he has a problem on his mind. Once he clears it up, he's not going to ask you because you know nothing about cars unless you do. He might think about, he might go online, he might talk to a buddy of his, he might say, try this. Okay, now he's got 2-3 solutions that can possibly fix the problem. He's feeling okay, he's going to be himself again. But women poke and prod. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
So then why do they have the highest suicide rate? Why do you think?
The reason men have the highest suicide rate is that when it comes to the way that they're regarded, so this professor's, this is not my words, right? Mm-hmm. He said the problem is that where society is headed, and he said one of the best examples to look at is family court. And he was saying that right off the bat, a man has to fight for his right to have his children. Fight tooth and nail to even get some time with his children. He's already on the losing end. He's basically regarded as the only thing you're good for is money. We don't feel you're responsible to wake up every morning and take your kids to school. We don't believe you're responsible to clothe them and feed them. If you have them, they're going to be eaten out of a garbage can. That's the way a man is treated. And in society, he's treated that way. It's the status quo that when a divorce takes place, the woman gets the house if she has children. The woman gets the kids. If she wasn't working, she gets alimony, and she automatically gets child support, right? So the man now is sleeping out of his car or living in his cousin's bedroom, in his basement or whatever it may be. No one gives a shit about man's problems. He's not like, he has no support. But a single mom now, because though she went through a divorce, she has all kinds of support. So men have none. That's why there's more suicide, because men are not allowed to vent any of their problems. It's laughed at.
Also, that when we did dive a little bit into the statistic, there was a lot of men get accused for like Me Too movement stuff, and the men that can't really come back from it because the men, that stigma, even when they're found not guilty, follows them. They can't get another job. They lose their friends. They lose their family. They lose their kids. They lose everything. Everything that they've built for because somebody got a little jealous, wanted to move up or whatever, and so that does contribute.
Yeah, there was an article in Vogue magazine, I think I talked about this before, where supposedly quote unquote journalist that wrote this article that every woman should be what was it again? Every woman should be believed, and every woman is right. And I was like, wait a minute here. This doesn't make any sense. So based on that, every man should not be believed and every man is wrong. That's what that means. So I actually wrote to the editor, and that's a really stupid article because that's not true. Every woman should not be believed. Women lie. They're human. Not every woman that talks about SA or grape is telling the fucking truth. But once those words leave her mouth, that man's life and career is over. Instantly. There was this woman, I think we talked about last time as well. She accused like 6 boys who in the US, and these kids all had like football scholarships and all that. This really ugly, like butchy looking girl. And she accused all of them of raping her. And they all got their scholarships canceled. Their windows were blown out. They had death threats. The families were all worried. And then later on it was found out that she lied about all of it. And that she admitted that she took a hammer and hit herself on the face, on her arms and all that. And said that they raped her at a party, all 6 of them all together. So I'm sorry, no, not every woman tells the truth. Right. And should be believed. That's bullshit. Because that automatically labels that all men are guilty. No, that's not the case. And there's so many men that get assaulted, and if they were to go to the police, they get laughed at. Like, I've talked about this before. I had a stalker. I had this crazy, psychotic stalker. And she would show up at my work. She'd show up at my house. And when I called the police, they laughed. They're like, what's the problem, man? Some girl really likes you. I said, what the fuck? That's what the cop said.
That's the beginning of every true crime episode. Are you serious? That's what she was doing to you. That's crazy.
And so that's the whole, so this is the thing about men cannot complain. Because most of the time, they'll be like, what are you complaining about? like you're a man. Just like fucking suck it up. So you have to suppress that shit, right? So my advice to women, if your man comes home, he's in a bad mood, just give a little bit of time, man. Like a man comes home as an ogre, right? He's been dealing with the ugly world. Or he's got like a shield and a sword. He's came home, let him relax for a little bit. Let him, calm down. Let him become your husband again. Let him become the father of your children again. And then you can talk to the guy. And if he's stressed, well, don't be like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Tell him what's bothering you. Why don't you talk to me? No, leave him alone. Just ask him, what do you want? Oh, I want this, or just rub my shoulders, or whatever. Whatever he asks for, just do it. And leave him alone.
What do I always say? Fuck him, feed him, and leave him alone.
Yeah, because after that, when he does figure out his problem, then he's going to talk to you. And if he thinks that you can be a part of the solution, he'll talk to you right away. But the reason he's not talking to you because he doesn't want to vent. Men are complete. That's why that book, Men Are From Mars and Women From Venus, that's what they clearly said. And when a woman starts talking and she's venting, the first thing a man does, he puts on his Mr. Fix-It hat. Right away, he's like, okay, she's talking. I got to see where I can, intervene and come up with a solution. No, buddy, shut the fuck up. She doesn't want a solution. Just be a lending ear and acknowledge what she, right? Validate what she's feeling.
Cam, that's how they are made naturally. So there's nothing wrong in, being at that position. So, I mean, I really, really don't get this point.
The point that I'm making is, no matter how many times I've said this to people, to men, including myself, I will still, just by default, want to try to fix the problem. If I'm with a woman and she's complaining, I want to find a solution to make her happy. Even though I know myself that she's just venting. And no matter how many times I've told women that if your man is stressed, leave him alone. He's going to go in his cave. He's going to clear his thoughts, resolve the problem that he has. He's going to come out. If you go in there, there's a dragon in there that's going to blow some fire on you and burn you. And now you're pissed off at him. I was just trying to, I just cared about what you were feeling. Why wouldn't you talk to me? Now you're getting angry at me. And now he has another problem to deal with. Now his woman's pissed off. Just let the guy be alone. So why am I saying this? Because even though I just mentioned this to you and you're married and you're with a man as well too, and you are, whatever your situation may be, if your man comes home and he's going to be upset, more often than not, you're going to forget what I said and you're going to poke. And then you're going to get angry. Why are you not talking to me? Why didn't you ever share anything with me? Like, why are you being cold? And the guy's like, listen, man, it's okay.
You're
stressed out.
generalizing.
No, I'm not. These are facts.
And sons can be the same way.
Because he's a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not can be, they are.
Yeah.
Chris, am I generalizing?
No.
Thank
Yes, you are generalizing.
How?
Of course.
How am
Obviously, not all women are that way.
I? 1,000%. If a man is silent, women
100%,
can't
I don't
stand
get
it. Women can't stand if a man comes home silent and he's not talking to you. He does acknowledge you're there, but he's just silent.
Of course, we will ask.
Thank you.
After, but not poke them.
Right.
We will definitely ask.
But your
ask if
idea
something
of
wrong.
your
And if they say, let's not talk about it, then we'll say, okay,
oh
take your
my
time.
God.
Take your time.
Like we're
We
living,
are
like this is like an episode of Peter
okay
Pan.
to say that. Take your
Women,
time.
take your time?
Yes. What's wrong?
Hold on. You're going to tell me that a woman will tell her man,
That meets me.
Chris, no. Chris,
I am that kind
Chris,
of a woman.
do you believe this? Take your time?
No.
Of course. How can
Yeah.
you deny this? Hello.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm a woman.
You are, but that's a minority.
Well,
Okay.
I'm one of those too. I don't do that. Do you
Okay.
guys do that?
I think that's because I'm neurodiverse, so I always think that people are like talking about me and stuff. So if my husband comes home and he's quiet, I'm like, "What's wrong?" And if he kind of just grunts, does something, I'm like, "Okay, did I do something wrong?" Like, do you like?
Oh,
yeah.
You get what I mean? Like, I kind of start prying, asking questions.
How is that different?
I mean, she said, what is her behavior? She's talking about her nature.
Yeah.
So that is different, of course.
No, but that's the whole point that I'm making.
I've improved.
Thank you. You're being.
I'm not.
Are you divorced?
I've been divorced 10, 11 years, but
Okay.
I now have,
I know, but I'm saying in the past when you're in your marriage, from the beginning of your marriage.
at the beginning, yes.
Thank you. So that's my whole girls. Listen,
No, you're generalizing everybody.
No, I'm saying you've learned now over the years, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying I am generalizing because it's in the DNA of a woman. Right from the beginning, that's her way of communicating. Right?
That's
so
yeah.
no, but so you
concerned,
because when you have a problem, you like to talk about it. And it makes you feel better. So you automatically assume if my man has a problem, if I'm here to listen, I'm going to listen really eagerly to everything he's saying. He should feel better. No.
You're also describing anxious attachment. People with
No,
have that.
listen, Michelle just said that she was like that in the beginning. I'm telling you, all women by default are like that because they're nurturing. It's not a bad thing. I never said it's bad. All I'm telling you is that even after women know this and even after men know this, they still go back to that default way of handling that. So I will tell my friends this and they'll be like, hey man, you were so right. Yesterday my woman was complaining about something and right away I came up with a solution. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, just can you not ever just hear me out? And I was like, oh shit, I fucked up again. Even though he knows, because it's if you go to that mode right away. So she's got a problem right away. I'm gonna go into fix it mode.
My girlfriend and I have a rule in our relationship. When we rant, we tell each other what we need. If it's a solution, just a rant or validation.
That's amazing. There you go.
Awesome. That's self.
That's great.
I like that.
Yeah, and I've read that in places that's really good. That right in the beginning, let the woman know, hey, or the woman tells her man that I'm just venting.
Yes.
I don't need a solution.
Right.
I want you to validate me, and even though I might sound crazy, you're gonna take my side. Okay, the guy's got it. He knows to he's gonna take your side, even though you might think, what is she complaining about? But he'll take your side. And a man, the same thing. The man should tell the woman, listen, I had a bad day. Nothing against you. I need some space. And that all that means is he needs to clear some things up in his head, and he's gonna be normal again. But a woman is going to be anxious, like you were saying. She's going to be anxious. That what's wrong? What's wrong? Was something I did? Did his mother say something about me? Did this happen? Did that happen? Did his ex call? Whatever it may be. Please, you women. Oh my God.
Oh God.
The thoughts that you guys can possibly think of, and the stuff that might go through your mind. You're going to tell me that you're not going to. You will possibly
of course,
think.
They can be thoughts.
So there you go.
But like you cannot say that you are like that.
I
You
never
are
said
like
that, but you do have
I
the
mean,
thoughts. I'm saying
yes,
it's normal.
of course, they can be thoughts, but I will let my man be.
Oh,
Like,
great,
you know-
wonderful. You will let him be. All I'm trying to say is, women think differently than men, and
Of
both
course.
parties tend to
Yeah.
think that when it comes to communication, the same method should be used. And all I'm saying is it cannot be. And that tends to be one of the biggest problems. It's so simple, but it's one of the biggest problems in relationships is communication. So what Chris just said is a great solution because if a woman lets her man know, listen, I'm just venting, okay? I just want you to support me on this because this really upset me today. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stay focused. I gotta say yes, really, and this kind of stuff here and there. She knows I'm listening. He has no idea what she's talking about because he doesn't know where the story's going, but he's supporting her and he hugs her. All good, as if you let him know. Otherwise, if he's a real man, he wants to fix your problem. If he's not thinking that, he's not a good guy to begin with. He should be thinking about helping you.
Yeah, one thing I've learned from my boyfriend is he says, he'll either say like, how can I help you? Or, kind of, what can I do? Is there anything I can do?
Yeah.
And then he kind of just lets me know and I say, no, I'm just venting. Or, yeah, can you help me with this? Or no, thank you for listening. Like I found that quite, so now I do that to him so that I'm not asking, and I'm not the type of person anyways to do that now.
Well, you're not anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore. Even back then,
But Michelle, I appreciate what you just said because you're being honest.
Yeah, but a lot of this is just self-awareness, huh?
No, she's being honest now about how she communicates with her man. You're at least saying that, yeah, you let him know I'm just venting.
Yeah.
So right away, he knows what lane to be in. Otherwise, men, like if I talk to a buddy of mine, I'm not never gonna vent. I don't vent.
No.
Men just don't do that. If I talk to a buddy of mine, I drove my car, there's a fucking noise. I go, really, where did it come from? What was the noise like? Okay. When did it happen? What speed are you going? Okay. And he'll be looking on his phone. My other buddy will be looking on his phone. This guy will, because they're all to cars. And they'll be like, is it that? I'm going to already try that. It's not that. It's that. No, I didn't try that. Send me the link. Okay.
So I feel really sad that my car is making this noise.
No.
Why?
It's pissing me off. What the hell? It's not about feeling sad, right? So men, and again, I will only share that with the men that I know that have knowledge of this. Otherwise, I'm not going to. He's an idiot. He doesn't know anything about cars. Like he drives a motor, whatever it may be. He doesn't know anything. So why would I even bring it up to him? So the same way, a man is not going to bring it up to you unless he knows that you have this. So your man might come home and say, you know what? This Saturday, I told you we're gonna be going to my sister's, and you're like, no, we're gonna be going to your sister's. And my mom called me, she's freaking out. He's gonna bring it up to you because he knows you can solve that problem. So we're not going to your sister's house, we're going to my sister's house. And do you understand? Do you agree? And the wife agrees, problem solved. So that he might bring up to you. But he's not going to bring up a problem that he knows that all you can do is just comfort him, but there's no solution there. If he knows there's a solution, yeah, he will bring it up to you. And women, these qualities that you have, women get defensive. I think they're beautiful qualities. I love the fact that women care so much, that they have so much compassion. They want to make their man feel better. And then they're worried, oh my God, is it maybe this? And then they go off on some tangent, start thinking it might have been this, or was this from 2 weeks ago, or maybe this happened. Just don't worry about guessing. They'll come and talk to you later. It's all good. But that all comes from a good place. It comes from a place of care. But it'd be so much better if all that energy wasn't wasted. Instead of the woman stressing herself out about what it could be, the ifs and the buts. Just let your man come to you when he does. And the same thing for the man. Instead of him being stressed, I gotta find a solution for this. My woman's upset, something's bothering her. I gotta hear her out. No, just hear me out. Don't worry about a solution. It's all good. When that happens, the communication becomes so much better because the woman is satisfied. She got to vent, right? The man is happy. The woman gave him some space. And now you have better communication. That's all I was saying. So anybody want to add anything in?
No.
We had a fun conversation.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So
Thank
the
you.
beauty of
Great.
this is that I've got Chris here. As long as Chris stays a male, we're good. He's going to back me. So it kind of becomes a little bit even. We've got two guys. And I love the fact that you ladies are, open about being women. Like, and it's a beautiful thing. Men have beauty and women do as well too. And these things should be celebrated and appreciated, right? Because the beauty a woman has is the emotional part. That's what men love about women. Because they're gentle, they have so much love and so on. But there's also rage and anger, but it all comes from the same place. So men love that about women, right? So the goal here when we talk about this is to emphasize how to bring that out, right? Men want to fix things. Why? Because he wants to protect you. He wants to make your life better. So if you're ranting about something, he doesn't get it, you have to let him know, I'm just ranting. I know you might not agree with me. I know you might think I'm crazy, and this is even something I shouldn't be bothered by. I'm just ranting. I'm like, okay, I get it. Because he's wondering, why is she going on about this if there's no way to even resolve this? But she's just going on, and she's so pissed off. But if you let him know from the beginning, everything's going to be smooth. Okay? So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so
if
much.
you'd like to be a guest on the show, we have a link in the bottom of the description. Then thank you very much. Good night.
Night.